It's amazing what a change in scenery can do for a team. After struggling in Houston, the Birds' bats woke up last night. 13 base hits resulted in 6 runs. The Tribe did battle back, but the heart of the Orioles lineup would not be denied, and the 6 runs held up for a much-needed team win. Today, the Birds look to make it back-to-back wins, Game 2 of the 3-game series in Cleveland. It's the Orioles on Masson on a hot and humid afternoon in Cleveland, Ohio. It's the Orioles and the Indians. Today it's the middle game of this 3-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. The Orioles came through with a big win last night to snap their 4-game losing streak, and it was production up and down the lineup that made the difference. Of course, when the Orioles are going well, one of the strengths of this team is the balance in their lineup, and it was on display last night. The Orioles now have 4 players with at least 28 RBIs, tied for the most players in Major League Baseball. Mark Trumbo leading with 34, Manny Machado has 29, and Chris Davis and Jonathan Schoop each with 28. And this is before Matt Wieters gets real hot and Adam Jones gets hot to join the list. And Jim Palmer, one of the things about last night, each of those 4 players had an RBI, distributing it up and down the lineup, and it was necessary for the 6-4 win.
You're right. And then we have, don't forget the table setter. Adam Jones led off for the first time, got on base a couple of times. You know, I mean, one of the premises of having a deep lineup, and Jimmy, you just talked about all the great numbers. You know, we saw Schoop get the great hit in the first inning, the 2-run single. That just kind of poked it up the middle. Is the fact when you have a deep lineup, if you take the walk, somebody else will get it going. You get the pitch count up, you get to the middle of the bullpen, et cetera, et cetera. And the Orioles probably need to do a little bit better job of that. But again, you know, everybody's saying, well, you know, McAllister came in, he was supposed to pound the ball in. Well, he made mistakes out over the plate. You just can't do that to the Orioles. So again, you know, very potent hitting lineup. Some guys are getting hot. Maybe Adam Jones, leading off for the second time, is getting hot. So he's become a table setter.
All right, well, today will be a bigger challenge as the Orioles face the Indians' best pitcher, Danny Salazar, which means Ubaldo Jimenez has to match Salazar.
Yeah, you know, you look at all the numbers, and I mean, really on paper, and, you know, if it was about paper, we'd just go right back to the hotel now, but we're not. We can't leave for about 3 or 4 hours. But, you know, it's a mismatch. I mean, these are the main numbers. Yes, Salazar, power pitcher, really pitched well. Last 9 starts, 1 run or less here at Progressive Field. So, you know, again, you look at this, you go, well, this game is over. But the one number, the one redeeming quality, well, there's actually 2 things, but the one number is last year, 2 starts, 1 run against the Indians. Brantley's not in there. He usually gives Ubaldo problems because of his shoulder injury. And the other thing is he worked with Ramon Martinez, trying to get a little bit more flow and maybe get a little bit better command. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But again, you better be at your best because Salazar's been that good.
So today it's the middle game of the 3-game series. Birds looking for a win to clinch the series and then have a chance for a sweep tomorrow. When we come back, we'll visit with Dylan Bundy. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The sun broke through the overcast. It is hot and humid here in Cleveland. Middle game of 3. Last night, of course, Dylan Bundy picked up his first major league win. And you see his struggles for his first 13 games on the year. But last night he was lights out, an inning in the third scoreless. Now, Dylan was the 4th overall pick in 2011, but missed most of the last 3 seasons with various injuries. And I spoke with Dylan about last night finally realizing his dream of winning a major league game.
It means a lot. I mean, especially it's taken me 4 years to do so, you know, getting up here in 2012. But, I mean, it just means a lot because of all the hard work I've put in. Also, my family, my brother and my dad have helped me so much to get to the point where I'm at today.
You're very competitive, and I know you were never going to take no for an answer. But with all of the injuries in the rehab, was the thought ever in your head, wow, I may not ever make it?
That thought might have been there, but I'm not going to say so if it was. But, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of hard times going through the Tommy John surgery, the calcification in my shoulder. There's a bunch of stuff to get through, and it was hard being in Florida while everybody's out here playing baseball in the game we love. So, yeah, it was hard. We had some hard times, but I was able to pull through it.
This season, not only are you learning how to navigate against major league hitters, you're learning how to do it as a reliever, something you've never done. Yeah. How has that process been, and how have you learned in the short season so far?
I mean, it's definitely interesting and it's also fun. But Darren O'Day, Zach Britton, Brad Brock, those guys have helped me so much as far as getting into a routine every day on how to prepare for the game, how to be ready when the phone rings and they call your name to get in the game. So being prepared mentally, also physically, is big in the bullpen.
Is it helpful for you that you happen to be a member of one of the best bullpens where you just have to do your job and nothing more?
Exactly. I mean, I just throw when, you know, Buck calls down and tells me to warm up. So I don't really have to worry too much that, you know, those 3 guys right there, they know their role and what they got to do. So it kind of makes it easier for me, I guess.
All right, last night you come into the game to try to get that final out and keep it a 3-3 game. Now that's a new role for you coming in, not starting an inning. What are you thinking there, and what was the pitch that got the pop-up?
Well, changeup was the pitch that got Napoli to pop up and get us out of that inning. But I was mainly thinking I didn't want to give up any more of Mike's runs because I've done that in the past, I think 2 times to him. And I know he's wanting me to do that for him also. So that was big, I think, not just for me, but for him to keep those runs off his line.
All right, there's an affectionate term for relief pitchers called the vulture, where a bullpen member will get a majority of the wins. On this team, the vulture is Brad Brock. Now you got one. Might you be moving in on his territory? Can you be the new vulture?
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Vulture, snake, whatever you got to do to get a win. I mean, hopefully our starters can get all the wins, but it's been fun.
Boy, he said a lot of the right things, didn't he? So what, 17 games in 3 years after the Tommy John surgery. 2013, about 66 innings. Has to be in the big leagues, and I think he's assimilated well. And you saw it last night, just the quality of the pitch. You know, he threw the pitch that Napoli has a little bit more trouble with. He'd already hit a slider for a home run, gets him out of the inning, and then has a clean inning. Actually catches a pop-up. So did it all last night, and then gets the first double W in the big leagues.
Well, Brock has 4 wins and Gibbons 3 wins out of that bullpen, and now Dylan Bundy has 1. Here's the Orioles Southwest starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Jones, Kim, and Machado with Davis, Trumbo, and Wieters in the middle. And that brings a 7-game hitting streak into today's game. Scope will bat 7th, and Alvarez and Joey Rickard batting 9th.
So Danny Salazar out of the Dominican Republic, you know, a lot of fastballs. Why not? He's got a good one, you know, 93 to 95. I mean, he can hit 98. He's got a great changeup, throws it a lot. You can see 18% of the time. Not only that, he throws it a lot of them for strikes, so that's huge. And again, look at the low ERA, low hits per innings, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Walks are a little bit up. I mean, he can't walk some people. And then low batting averages. And the other number you look at, you know, the leading off innings, only 158. He does a lot of things well, and that's why he's tough to beat. You just have to, if you're going to pitch against him, you just have to pitch a low-run game.
Well, he is on some kind of a tear, although he did lose his last start. Here's Adam Jones batting leadoff for a 2nd consecutive game. And coming off a 3-hit effort last night. The batting average at 235. He's now 6 for 31 on the trip, but does not have an RBI. First ball swinging and a high fly ball to center field. Rajai Davis has it measured, and on one pitch, one down in the Oriole first.
Yeah, take a look at the defense for the Indians here at Progressive Field. Ramirez, Davis, and Chisenhall. That's last night's outfield. Uribe, Lindor, Kipnis, and Napoli. Gomes will do the catching instead of Jimenez. So pretty similar lineup, except the catcher and the pitcher.
Yoon-Soo Kim, who did not have a hit last night, but he is still batting .410, so he gets another start. And Buck Showalter leaves him in that number 2 spot. Salazar is in his 4th season. He has been a career Indian. He signed when he was 16 years old back in 2006 and was brought along slowly. Sharply hit by right to first. Big hop for Napoli. So 3 pitches, 2 quick outs here for Salazar in the first. And here comes Machado.
Yeah, another terrific night for Manny. He didn't get any pitch you throw. I mean, right field, left field. You'll just kind of see from the highlights. He rips a double over the head of Ramirez. So again, 6th time he's had 3 hits or more. And then everybody was raving. You know, it's funny. You know, with J.J. Hardy out, he's had to move to shortstop. He's for what, about 99.5%. And they were all raving. They said, does he play shortstop like that? I said, well, that's how he came up. So he's moved over and hasn't missed a beat.
He brings a 6-game hitting streak against Cleveland into this game. Batting .462 in those 6 games. And with his 4-hit game last night, he's back in the top 10 in batting. He's now 7th at .323. Salazar coming off a loss last Sunday in Boston. He lasted just 4 1/3, allowed 4 runs. It's the only start in 9 starts that he's allowed more than 3 runs. He is really, really tough.
Yeah, it was the Red Sox. You know, they test your ability as a pitcher. He's got 4 pitches. You know, the amazing thing, he's got a power arm. I mean, he can, as we mentioned, he can go from 92 to a lot harder if he has to. He throws, what, 61% of his fastball for strikes. Changeup, he throws 71%. Sliders down the line, only throws it over 55% of the time. He misses it with it there. So, you know, and again, he can add and subtract. He's hard to run off of. And it just seems, as we mentioned at home, one run or less in 6 of his last games. This is his 3rd start against the Orioles.
And Machado works a 2-out walk. So Manny gets aboard to keep it going, and here's what you mentioned earlier, Jim. Take a walk and let the next guy try to drive you in.
Well, if they don't throw strikes, that's what you have to do against good pitching. I mean, you get on, it opens up holes, it gets the pitch count up, and you can go on and on. I mean, normally, when you're good, it doesn't really bother you. Either when you get a guy as hot as Machado, you either make your pitches or you don't, and then you take care of the next guy. But it does give Chris Davis a chance with the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and you can see the 10 home runs, a chance to maybe give the Orioles a lead.
Here's the look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers and the breakdown on Danny Salazar.
Yeah, so those, you know, they're all really good numbers. I mean, bases loaded, nobody's gotten a hit, runners in scoring position, 1 out of 5. And the 158 leading off an inning. Good job of keeping people off. And he's not a big guy. I mean, he's, you know, like, what, 6 feet, 190-ish.
Well, they sure do like to score for him. They're getting him 6.46 per game, which is 12th best in the major leagues. And a borderline pitch called a strike by Jim Wolf. I mean, he's not in Jake Arrieta's league. Arrieta's getting 9.53 runs per game from his Cubs teammates. No wonder he never loses.
Well, they are the 2nd best offensive team in baseball, right behind the Red Sox.
After falling behind Machado, Salazar's ahead of Davis 1-2. And misses up and in.
Yeah, that's the changeup, and he just didn't quite stay behind it, so he kind of jerked it up and in.
Well, Chris had a big hit last night. He doubled a drive-in and run that broke the 3-all tie. And then Trumbo, the next batter, followed with a 2-run homer. It was a real good at bat, a patient at bat for Chris in the 7th inning last night. Throw to first and Manny back. It's tough to run on Salazar, very quick to the plate.
Yeah, and Manny doesn't run this year. So we've seen on this road trip a lot of pitchers that aren't aware that the Orioles have only attempted 14 steals, 8 out of 14 of those successful. Good keep the bat alive by Chris Davis. There's the curveball.
Yeah, the Orioles are dead last in the American League with 8 stolen bases. Just not part of their game.
Yeah, 6th in runs, 4.4. In fact, the Indians, they're second with 4.7. Red Sox first.
Another 2-2 pitch to Davis. Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and Chris does not agree with Jim Wolf. Says something to the umpire very calmly, but still made his point. So a 2-out walk, a man left, will lead to the bottom of the 1st. No score in Cleveland. We head to the bottom of the 1st. Here's the Indians lineup against Ubaldo Jimenez, Santana, Kipnis, and Lindor with Napoli in the cleanup spot. Jose Ramirez 5 for 7 in the last 2 games. He had his first career 4-hit game last night. Uribe, Gomes, Chisenhall, and Davis.
So Ubaldo will toe the rubber against his former teammates. He's here for about 2.5 years. So a lot of fastballs. Command is the problem, and velocity is down in the month of May from about 90.8 to about 89. Real high ERA, and all you have to do is look at his 4 of his last 5 starts: 6-4, 6 and 6 runs. Lefties hit him well. Hasn't thrown multiple home runs in games. And then, of course, if you get on, you can run a little bit. 7 out of 9. So when he pitches well, Jim, we know he's going to get strike 1, and he's not going to be a command guy, but he'll throw a lot of pitches that move in the zone.
Well, this will be a test. The Indians, as we saw last night, a very patient team at the plate. Ball 1 to Santana. And fouled away 1-1. Although it is kind of interesting that Ubaldo in his last 2 starts against the Indians is 1-0 with a 0.69 ERA, just 1 run in 13 innings. He's coming off a loss last Sunday in Anaheim, in which he went 5 2/3 and allowed 6 runs.
Yeah, they hit pretty much everything. He got ahead of Albert Pujols, who hit his 570th home run to pass Palmeiro last night, but he got in front of him and just didn't have enough velocity. Hit a 2-strike pitch into left field for a couple of runs.
And a base hit in the right field. So ahead in the count, 2-1. Santana got the fastball and he rips it.
So take a look at the defense, and Kim, Jones, or Rickard. Joey getting a start tonight. It was Raimo last night in right field. Alvarez takes over for Flaherty, Machado, Scope, Davis, and Matt Wieters. able to do the catching. Caleb Joseph behind the plate last night. Well, it's a visual medium. I'm going to put it out there right now. You can't pitch up belt high behind in the count, and that's what happened to Santana. So I think maybe we should all just kind of see how he navigates his way through this lineup, because if he stays in the middle of the plate, you're going to see it's not going to be very successful.
Jason Kipnis, the number 2 hitter. Up and away, 1-0. Kipnis has a 5-game hitting streak going. He is 2 for 7 against Ubaldo. Every hitter in this Indians lineup has seen Ubaldo. Shows bunt and takes it outside. 2-0.
Yeah, they did an article in the Plain Dealer this morning, and the quote said that Ubaldo quoted as saying baseball is not easy, and it isn't, especially when you lose confidence and command. I mean, that's what pitchers do. You make your living staying out of the middle of the plate, using all your pitches, and you can see, I mean, he's going left and the ball's going right, and that's been his problem as of late. He did work with Ramon Martinez, who's a pretty gifted pitcher in his own right, also from the Dominican, and I think it's hard with 4 days between starts to make meaningful adjustments.
Yeah, he gets a strike, so 3-1. Well, he won his first start of the year. That was April 7th against Minnesota, and then didn't win again until May the 7th against Oakland. So in between the wins, he went 0-3 with an ERA of 6.53. And there's ball 4, so a walk.
Yeah, what he was saying was, I was pretty good in April, and he was. That pitch actually was probably the best pitch he's thrown, in the sense that it just missed the outside corner, similar to the one that Santana got against, or Salazar got against Chris Davis.
So the first 2 reach, and here's Francisco Lindor, the Cleveland shortstop. He is batting .367 here in his home ballpark.
They had a big night last night. Home run off of O'Day, sacrifice fly to tie it off of Mike Wright. They're trying to get out of the 5th inning with a 3-1 lead, and eventually with Dave 3-3. Matt Wieters out to have a conversation. And for Lindor, we saw him hit the home run, so he could pull the ball, he could go the other way. The sacrifice fly at bat was what, 9 pitches? Mike Wright threw him everything he could possibly throw, and he still ended up hitting the ball in the left field for a run. And then he doesn't get the close pitch, and you're not going to get it. I mean, that certainly could have been called a strike. He's looking in. A little help here. He needs the ball hit at somebody.
Are deep inside the numbers, and here are the situations for Ubaldo.
Yeah, I mean, early in the year in April, I mean, he was down in the 140s with that last number of runners in scoring position. So it's just come up as he progressively hasn't really been in the rhythm.
Well, since he last won, he's made 3 starts, and in 15 innings, he's allowed 17 runs, 16 of those earned. So that's an ERA of 9.60 in his last 3 starts. Slow roller towards first. It's going to be a tough play. Davis will grab it and step on the bag. So they get it out. The other 2 runners advance, but Ubaldo able to come back from 3-0 to get an out.
Well, it's not what Lindor wanted to do, but it is a productive out, contrary to what some Sun reporter said the other night when Chris Davis did the same thing, because you get runners at 2nd and 3rd. You're looking for a lead. Nobody wants to make an out, but if you're going to make an out, it is productive if you get guys into scoring position. Kind of ludicrous to think anything other than that.
Right.
Obviously, he would have liked to hit one up the middle or hit a base hit.
Here's Mike Napoli with a long home run last night. And upstairs, he's been ball 1 to all 4 of the batters to come up.
Well, he can't stay closed enough to get going down the slope of the pitching rubber. So just imagine you take your chin and your shoulder to the glove. If you come out of it, well, you just can't get your arm out in front where you want it to be.
And a chopper to third off the glove of Alvarez and down the line. 2 runs are going to score, and Napoli heads to second base.
Well, you know, Tom Hamilton, the radio announcer for years here in Cleveland, said, "How's Alvarez been?" And I said, "Really haven't seen him very much." But if this is Flaherty, if it's Machado, who's one of the most gifted third basemen, he's just going to catch this ball and maybe, just maybe, have a play. And if he doesn't get the play at home, you're going to probably have an out at first. But because Pedro doesn't play a lot at third and he's known more for being a hitter, they get a break. Not only do they get the 2 runs after the productive out by Lindor, but they also get a runner at second base.
And that'll be an error charge to Alvarez, his second. Napoli will get 1 RBI in the second, scoring on the error.
Yeah, it would have been a tough throw because of the angle. I mean, he had to backhand the ball, but he certainly would have gotten it out. Probably would have scored the run. Santana moving on contact. And now you got, you know, one of their best runner in scoring position numbers at 370. He got 4 hits last night for the first time in his career.
Napoli slipped. Wieters may have had a play, but Manny wasn't in the picture, so Wieters held on. So 2-1 on Ramirez. When Ubaldo's on the mound, the Orioles have to play good defense. So not only does the Indians team get an extra out here because of the error by Alvarez, they get an extra run early on. Upstairs, ball 3.
And then, of course, if you know, if you're sitting at home, if you're a pundit, you said, well, why is Buck Showalter playing Alvarez at third? He's not a good defender. Well, Flaherty hasn't been hitting. So you're kind of looking for offense against Salazar, who's a terrific pitcher.
And there's another walk.
So he's trying all his pitches. At least it seemed like he was able to get him down in the zone. But you know, Buck's probably going to get Vance Worley up. He's the long man. Because of roster problems, T.J. McFarland usually assumed that role. Bundy's pitched quite frequently. Worley's going to.
Ron Uribe now with 2 on and only 1 out. And a strike in the inside corner. Uribe 10 for his last 32. He's batting at .237. Runners take off. Pitch is taken. Throw to third. Bounces. And everybody's safe.
Yeah, boy, that's baseball right there. Alvarez saves a throw into left field by Wieters with a really nice catch of a ball that bounces. So this is, see, they know Ubaldo. And that ball easily could have gotten into left, and they know you can run on it. That's a couple of stolen bases. So now it's what, 9 out of 11. Stay out of the double play. So you have a chance to have a pretty productive inning. What did Terry Francona said last night after they were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position? We didn't do enough. A lot of opportunities, didn't take advantage of it offensively. Big swing there. Missed his pitch. Ubaldo, he can strike people out. I mean, strikeouts last year, they were almost 9 per 9 innings. This year, they're a little bit under 8. Again, when you're behind everybody, it's hard to strike people out, but that's not the case here. Maybe he can strike out Uribe with either a high fastball, maybe a good splitter under the strike zone.
Line drive caught by Manny. Saves a run.
Yeah, one of those pitches where this is very much like the pull hole swing out in California. You try to go in, but if you're not throwing hard, they get to it. Uribe actually puts a good swing on it, but right there is Manny Machado to make the second out.
So the runners have to hold. Yan Gomes will face Ubaldo, who's trying to retire Gomes and keep this to a 2-run inning. Ground ball and a base hit in the right field. 1 run is in. Here comes Ramirez to the plate. Throw not in time. A 4-run bottom of the first for the Indians.
Kind of like what Jonathan Scope did for the Orioles last night, except he hit it up the middle, added a couple of runs in the first. So 2 runs goes to 4 runs. Even though Gomes has really been struggling, Scope can't get it. Rickard makes a good throw right at the cut off man, but Ramirez runs too well.
So the error hurts twice. It allowed 2 runs to score, and then Napoli got on and he just scored. So it is 4-0. Ball 1 outside. Rough inning for Ubaldo. 2 walks, they both scored. He's now allowed 2 hits, and the second hit drove in 2. And a chopper over the head of Davis in the right field for a base hit. Gomes will head to third, and on at first is Chisenhall. Dave Wallace is going to come out for a chat with Ubaldo. And Worley's getting loose now in the Oriole bullpen. Ubaldo may not be long for this game. His command is very erratic.
Well, it's been, as you mentioned, he's not a control guy in the sense that he's going to hit the glove all the time. I mean, his throw it knee high, let it run, move, sail, cut. If he does that often enough, and that's what the good games are about, then he can use the secondary and pitches, which are the splitter and the breaking ball. But when you're behind or you get bad luck, which has been the case, or even don't get a couple of calls that, you know, maybe Salazar, who's a more gifted pitcher, has gotten. That's how you get the big innings. And the Red Sox, the Indians get the big hits too. Bad combination.
So Rajay Davis up. Cleveland has batted around in this first inning. First and third with 2 down. Davis just 7 for his last 35. Popped up back this way. 1 on the count. Wild game in Toronto today. The Blue Jays trailed Boston 8-4 going to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays got 4 to tie it at 8-8. But the Red Sox got a run in the top of the 9th, so Boston leads at 9-8. Kimbrel's on to try for the save. Good take, so it's ball 2. This was the kind of start Buck Showalter was talking about before the game. He was asked about when he used Dylan Bundy in the 5th inning last night, and he said, well, you can't have O'Day and Brock and those guys coming in the middle of the game. If the starter doesn't get you deeper, you have to readjust, and the Orioles don't have a day off until 2 weeks from Monday, which is in the middle of their next road trip. So a short start can really mess up your bullpen, and Ubaldo is having a real tough first inning. There's a strike. Davis didn't think so.
Yeah, it's it again. Well, look at the glove and look at the ball, and you know it may have been a shade low. I'm just saying, why me?
Mercedes pitch track presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
We talked about it last night. You know, all Trevor Bauer wanted to do is get onto the bench. So that's what Ubaldo does.
Runner from first goes, and the pitch is taken low, ball 3. There's another stolen base. So Chisenhall gets his 3rd of the year, 3 steals in the inning. And the 3-2 is a called strike 3. Davis thought he had ball 4, and Ubaldo gets out of it. Looked like a generous call, but the Indians bat around. They score 4 in strand 2. We'll enter the second with the Indians in front. Of Westminster has won $500 for being selected and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in the game today. Play home run Rich's scratch-offs and win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. Where Trumbo leads off, O's have some work to do now, trailing 4-0 against the Indians' best pitcher. Wieters on deck and then Scope. Trumbo has real good power all fields, as he showed last night.
Well, that's why I asked him in the postgame. This is Pony League, Little League. When did you find you could fly out to right? And the ball just keeps going, going, going. And as he said, the ball doesn't always carry well here, especially to right field. When he hits it, I don't know if I've seen a whole lot of better high ball hitters. And he reminds you, he's not as big as Frank Howard, because Frank Howard had 48, 49 home runs. He was 6'8". Actually coached for, later on in his career, coached for Buck Showalter in the Yankees. Hondo. Wherever you are, we wish you well. But that's the kind of power that Trumbo has, especially to the opposite field.
Trumbo to center field. That chases Rajay Davis way out there. It is over his head and against the wall. And Trumbo is hustling the second base. He's got a leadoff double. Well, Trumbo's really stinging the ball.
That's a high fastball, and that's what he does. The Orioles don't miss this kind of pitch very often. I mean, that's he can backspin the ball, and that's, you know, when you swing from high to low or pretty level and backspin the ball, it just kind of propels it into the air, kind of like when you pull down when you're throwing a baseball. It does it as well as anybody.
Birds looking to at least chip into this 4-0 deficit. Have a good chance here with a runner at second and nobody down. Salazar now facing Wieters. Strike in the outside corner. Matt's got a 7-game hitting streak going, 14 for 30 with a couple of home runs during the streak. This ball's hit the center field, but Davis has a play, and he's got it for the out. So Wieters hit it hard, but one down in the Orioles second. Fans on Monday celebrate Memorial Day at Oriole Park. The Birds are back home. They'll take on the Red Sox at 1:35, and all fans receive an Orioles Memorial Day t-shirt. So kick off the unofficial start of summer by honoring our nation's heroes and a great afternoon of baseball with your family and friends. So get your tickets now. Just go online, Orioles.com, or 888-848-BIRD. And join us Memorial Day daytime baseball at Camden Yards. Flag in center field. Here at Progressive Field. Jonathan Scope takes low.
Well, you talked about all the run support, 6.46, but you're hoping this is what his 70th major league start that we won't know how to pitch with an early lead, and he'll throw versus pitching. Again, because his success is that he mixes his pitches so well. Yeah, he can go from 92 to a little bit over the mid 90s, but he does have 3 other real good pitches.
1-1 on Scope. John's had a real good road trip. 10 for 29, a 345 clip with a home run and 5 RBIs, and he has 4 multi-hit games in the first 7 games of this trip. Ball and a strike on John. And then inside he lays off 2-1. In the last 7 games he is really hitting.
Well, the whole field. Shooting balls into right field. The ability to pull.
Chase to pitch there, 2-2.
They never picked up the spin. That's how you wave at a curveball. It's a foot outside. Just don't pick the spin, or maybe you're anxious. Don't let the ball travel. But the good breaking balls are harder to pick up. That's what differentiates the good one from the bad one. And there's the changeup. So he hasn't forgotten how to be a pitcher. Gets behind, throws him a curveball, and then the bottom drops out on this changeup. I think it's going to maybe stay in the middle of the plate and just dives underneath the bat head.
Mickey Callaway is pitching coach. The Indians have a 3.85 club ERA. That is 6th in the American League. Now here's Pedro Alvarez playing at third base today to get his bat in there. And then he'll take a strike. Pedro doesn't like the call. Jim Wolf in these first 2 innings likes the corners for Salazar. When you have command, you get the close calls.
Well, when you're all over the place, you're just not going to get those pitches. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. It always has been. Yeah, they're starting pitching, and they have missed Carlos Carrasco because of the hamstring problem. He's going out in rehab. Is about a half a run better than the Orioles. As you mentioned, they come in at a little bit under 4 runs a game. There's Corey Kluber. Josh Tomlin is 7-0. He's been on a roll lately.
Sharply hit foul. 1-2 on Pedro. Trumbo back to second base.
Danny Salazar, he's gone to the old type stockings. That's the way they used to wear them. And then he's got the high tops.
He must need extra support on the ankles. Pedro slices it down the left field line. Long run for Ramirez. He's not going to get there, but it's back out of play.
Yeah, Pedro said, I am not going to let a ball go by on the outside corner because he's not really sure what a strike is. You'll probably see the same approach from Chris Davis after he got called up on a ball he thought was off the plate. It is Jim Wolf's umpiring zone, and that's the one you have to deal with.
A ball and 2 strikes on Alvarez, trying to get Trumbo in. Mark led off the inning with a double, still there with 2 down. Hit into the shift. There's Kipnis. Alvarez retired, and the Orioles strand a leadoff double. Mid-second in Cleveland. Indians coming back to the plate, leading 4-0. brought to you by Miller Lite. Ubaldo back to the mound. 35 pitches to get through the 9-batter first inning. He allowed 4 runs. And Wallace keeping a close eye on him. Only one of those runs is earned due to the error by Napoli. It should have been the second out, and then Uribe's line drive would have been the third out.
Yeah, very disconcerting when you face the leadoff man for the second time leading off the second inning. That usually indicates things didn't go well in the first for whatever the reasons are.
Bounce to first, backhanded by Davis, and he'll go to the bag. So Salazar is retired on 2 pitches and 1 away in the second inning. You can catch everything all season long by following Masson Orioles on Twitter. Just check out highlights of the game, go behind the scenes, and enter to win exclusive prizes. That at Masson Orioles on Twitter.
Yeah, I think the strategy for most starting pitchers is just go out and give up as few runs as you can, and if you have a big inning, then that's all you're going to give up, and then take your chances. For a veteran like Ubaldo, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm sure his mindset is. Like you said, it's not easy. It's really tough first inning.
And a fly ball to straightaway center field for Adam Jones. Now over towards left center. So 2 quick outs. Ubaldo was with the Indians for 74 starts. He was traded to Cleveland from Colorado July 30th, 2011. It was a 4-for-1. 4 went to Colorado. Ubaldo came here. He went 26-30 in those 74 starts. And he gets ahead of Lindor 0-1. And there's a base hit off a hanging breaking ball.
Well, this kid can play. He's not going to miss that pitch. He's lying out at somebody, but it's a very hittable curveball that just stays up, and he doesn't overswing. And then we saw last night he can hit home runs. Turned on a fastball from Darren O'Day, hit a line drive into the right field seats. The shorter of the porches here at Progressive Field.
Here's Mike Napoli, who reached on the error by Pedro Alvarez, drove in a run, and then came around the score. As opposed to last inning, this inning Ubaldo's getting ahead.
Almost picked him off. Had him leaning. Throw up a little bit, you would have seen a swipe tag from Chris Davis. Yeah, you can see him thinking about going, and I wouldn't be surprised that he would be running.
He is running. Throw to second from Wieters, bounces the tag, not in time.
Yeah, Terry Francona doing exactly what he should be. If you have speed, you have a slow release to the plate. Big 6'5" right-hander. Wieters makes a pretty good throw. Real quick relief, bounces a little bit. Really nice tag by Scope. And Lindor. See how close it was.
And the 0-2 pitch is inside, a ball and 2 strikes.
And then he got a huge running lead at second.
He's only 22 years old, Lindor. And Napoli fights it off to stay alive.
Yeah, Buck Showalter said, who would you take, Carlos Correa or would you take Francisco Lindor? I said I'd take both of them. I'll move Correa to third. That's what I'm doing. Both #1 draft choices, both out of Puerto Rico.
Lindor was drafted a year ahead of Correa. Line drive and a base hit into left center field. Cleveland gets another run as Lindor scores, so a 2-out, nobody on rally. Ball gets away from Scope, but not enough for Napoli to advance. So he got the first two rather easily, but then hung a breaking ball, and then Napoli delivers an RBI single.
Yeah, he stayed back. I think it was a splitter. Watch him stay up just enough, and he just covers the outside corner. It's a home run guy actually having a contact swing with 2 strikes, and it works out well. So the base hit, and then the other part of it, the equation, the stolen base.
Well, it is 5-0 Cleveland. Jose Ramirez now walked and scored his first at bat. Ramirez is only 23, and he's already in his 4th season. I remember when he came up, he was the shortstop of the future. But they had Lindor making his way through the minor leagues. So now Ramirez is getting most of his starts in the outfield. Ball 3.
Well, you know, Terry Francona managed Ubaldo Jimenez in 2013. You get the advanced scouts, scouting reports, and they were 16 out of 22 stealing bases the year he managed.
A 4-pitch walk. That is the 3rd walk. And here comes Buck, and it's going to be a real short outing for Ubaldo. He's going to go an inning and 2/3. He's not yet made the signal. Takes the baseball from Ubaldo, so we're going to get Vance Worley to come on. Very short outing for Ubaldo Jimenez as he goes just an inning and 2/3. Ubaldo leaves. Worley comes on. 5-0 Cleveland in the 2nd.
Never could use his other pitches, just didn't have the count in his favor. Alvarez does make an error, so only, at least to this point, 3 of the runs are earned. Vance Worley will come on. So he's been good. He throws a lot of strikes. You can see right there, hasn't given up any earned runs. Not too many inherited runs either, so a lot of movement, can change speed. Very durable guy over the course of his career. He's relieved last year with the Pirates. He actually started early on, then he came back. He sent him to the minor leagues. He pitched very well, 5-5, with starting down in Indianapolis, and they brought him back and put him in the bullpen. He will try to slam the door right here.
So Ubaldo 50 pitches to get 5 outs. Here's Juan Uribe. A little bit high, I guess. Cut the plate in half. But he was stranded 5 of 9. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's a little higher than normal. You'd like to be down to the 25 percentile, but
spoken like a former starter.
Well, no, I just.
There's a bloop, shallow center field. That ball's trouble. Jonathan Scope can't get it. Here comes Napoli to score 6-0 Cleveland.
Yeah, bad combination. Worley gets behind. He's a high ball pitcher. A high ball pitcher with movement. You know, he cuts it, moves it, and then what is Uribe? He's a high ball hitter. Didn't hit it well. Kind of found a hole in the middle of the Oriole defense. Scope with great effort. Just can't quite get to it. Look how far he goes as a second baseman. About maybe 6-8 inches out of his reach. Now 6 out of 9 inherited runners, and that's how they grade you. Or at least that's one of the numbers. Pretty significant numbers.
So 2 runs in, 6-0 Cleveland, and a foul ball off the bat of Yan Gomes.
Well, they scored 4 runs last night and went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They came in averaging over 5 runs a game at home.
And a bouncer to short. Manny plays a big hop. He'll flip the Scope. And there's the force on Uribe, and that ends the inning. But another productive inning for the Indians. 7 get to the plate. They score 2. 6-0 Cleveland. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Royal Farms world famous chicken and western fries, made fresh, never frozen, real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms. Well, Lake Erie, that's where Jim Palmer had his morning workout in the kayak. And the 4 o'clock start, he had a little extra time in the morning.
Sculling.
Is that what? Oh, sculling. Excuse me. I forgot you were sophisticated.
Too choppy for the skull today. I'm sure that's probably not the way the name is. You have a skull, you know, you probably have a skiff. I don't know what you have, but you wouldn't find me out there. That plus, what's the other side of Lake Erie? Go to Canada?
Well, eventually. Yeah. I mean, Detroit's up that way.
You go the wrong way. The next thing you know.
Wow. You know, that pitch. Joey Rickard thought it was outside. It's called a strike. Joey, the number 9 batter. Jones and Kim will follow.
Yeah, they tried to stay out of the middle of the plate to Joey Rickard because he's a good fastball hitter, and then they throw the soft stuff. And then they go to work on him.
Rickard pops it up right side. Napoli calls right near the bag. He'll make the catch. One down here in the Oriole third. The Orioles will host the AL East rival Yankees. It's a 3-game weekend series. It gets going next Friday night at Oriole Park. Now, tickets for the Yankees, as you know, always go fast, especially over a weekend. So don't miss out on an exciting weekend in Birdland. Plus, for each game, fans are encouraged to bring any non-perishable food items and cash donations to the park, all to benefit the Maryland Food Bank as part of the 30th annual Orioles Reach Food and Funds Drive presented by Masson and WJZ TV. For your tickets, Orioles.com, or call 888-848-BIRD. We got to get the Hall of Famer out there to collect some of the food. We have a lot of fun doing that.
I will bring the food.
Oh, that's just as good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can also bring money.
Yes. That's a fair ball off the bat of Jones. Low throw, nicely scooped by Napoli on the back end and went down to his knees.
Yeah, you go back to 2013 when he got to the Red Sox. Mike Napoli had one of the best zone ratings for a first baseman. Now, former catcher, big guy but agile. Ribbitt just going to catch it, takes a little hop, and then heaves it over there in one hop, and kind of almost assumes the catching position. Make sure it doesn't get behind him. There's the heave right there. Get rid of it quickly. Trust your first baseman. Napoli picks it.
Yoon-Soo Kim 0 for 1. He grounded out his first at bat. It's interesting that Kim has become a daily topic at Buck Showalter's pregame press conferences, simply because he's making 4 consecutive starts. He was used sporadically up until the last 4 games. But Buck brought up a good point. If he's hitting, why not?
Well, looks like he's quicker. Rickards not hitting.
Flaherty's not hitting.
Yeah, Flaherty's not hitting. I mean, he plays an adequate left field. But the key is he's hitting.
Well, Buck said as long as he's hitting 400, he's in there. He's now at exactly 400. He really does have a good eye.
Well, he doesn't overswing. He's very content up the middle, inside out to left, serve it to left. You know, 28 home runs in Korea, but different league, veteran over there.
He thought he had a walk and another borderline call. Wow, if you give Salazar that, it's going to be a long day.
Well, I don't think it was that far inside. What it was Gomes was sitting on the outside corner.
Ground ball towards the middle. Kipnis will backhand, and the throw gets him. Nicely done by Kipnis. So the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down for the first time in this game. Mid-third in Cleveland, 6-0 try.
Contributor in spring training, and he's worth everything that they.
overachiever in you, and congratulations to AAA Norfolk manager Ron Johnson, who tonight will set the Tide's record for most games managed. He will pass Gary Allenson. Buck Showalter before the game on the value of Johnson to the organization.
He's an asset for me. Sometimes just to talk. You know, he gets it, and he's a big contributor in spring training, and he's worth everything that he's got coming.
So anyway, Ron Johnson, you know, terrific guy. I first met him when he was first base coach for the Red Sox, but you know, played in about 22 games in the big leagues. But Buck's right about they speak the same language, and you want to know how your team is doing. You want to be able to communicate, and it's not only AAA with Ron Johnson, who's a fabulous guy, but it's all you throughout your minor league. And Buck's not a day he doesn't know what's going on.
Here's another base hit. This one off the bat of Chisenhall into the corner. Rickard. Here's the throw. Good throw. He is safe. He just got the hand, and good hustle there by Chisenhall.
Yeah, Kim gets to it pretty quickly, but again, when you come out of the box, and you know the ball's away, so you get a pretty good running lead. Plays, I mean, kind of a crash landing. Very, very close. Kim gets to it, makes a nice throw. Boy, drops the tag quickly. Well, there's a whole lot better guys than Scope dropping the tag. I had Mark Belanger, who won 8 Gold Gloves. Look how quickly he gets it down there. That's a pretty close play.
Yeah, Cedarstrom at perfect position.
But they're looking in, and Buck's video people tell them differently. They'd be challenging.
So Ron Johnson today will become the Tide's all-time leader in games managed. They'll play Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He is 311 to 314 with the Tides. 22 years as a minor league manager. And Buck said Ron Johnson has the toughest job in the organization. And if you think about it, everybody on that AAA team doesn't want to be there. They want to be here. They have a good thing going there. They have Mike Griffin, real good pitching coach, calming influence. Sean Berry is the hitting coach there now, former big leaguer. There's a lot of continuity in the minor leagues right now with the coaches. Rajay Davis, and the ball hit the other way for a base hit. Chisenhall will be held as Rickard got to it real quickly. So the Indians just keep on hitting.
Oh, what an approach. You know, he's trying to get him over, and he gets the bonus. He hits it hard enough to get it by Scope. Chisenhall's not going to score because Rickard does playing pretty shallow. This is what you want to do. I don't care what the scoreboard says. Get more runs. Make the next guy, which is going to be Carlos Santana, a better hitter. That's exactly what Rajay Davis did.
Here is Santana. Third inning, he's up for a third time. And it's low, 1-0, and Worley's streak of consecutive appearances in relief without allowing a run is in jeopardy here. Ten consecutive scoreless appearances out of the bullpen. And there's a called strike. It's interesting watching hitters like Santana, who have such good batting eyes and a real confidence in their strike zone. If they don't swing, they think it's a ball, and they're offended if it's called a strike. There's a chopper to second, could be two. Scope to Manny, back to first, and just in time for a double play, but a run scores as Chisenhall comes in. So they trade 2 outs for a run, no RBI. 7-0 Cleveland.
4-2 and now 1 here in the third. No RBI, but you're right. Look at the Orioles turn the double play. Obviously, if it's a closer game, this is what you're looking for. You'll still take it because it's 2 outs on 1 pitch.
And Worley's got to try to eat up some innings here. Breaking ball for a strike.
And he'll be happy to try to do that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And obviously, any pitcher who came up as a starter would prefer to still be in a rotation. But we had a sit-down interview late in the homestand, and I asked him about accepting the role, and he said, you know what, I'm wearing a big league uniform, so I have to do what they want me to do. It's a real good attitude.
Well, he could also become a starter.
Strike 3 call, so Worley gets out of it. A run on 2 hits, none left. We're through 3. It is all Cleveland, 7-0 try.
The 4th inning of Orioles baseball is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. Top of the 4th inning, and Jim Hunter is back.
Thank you for covering for me, partner. The restroom at the Progressive Field is in Toledo. So,
well, it's a nice city. I think it's a great ballpark.
Oh yeah, they do. The Mudheads. They love the Mudheads there.
It's something like it's either 5th, 3rd Street ballpark, I think, named after a bank, or it's 3rd, 5th Street ballpark named after a bank.
Here's Manny leading off. Maybe I was a bit too honest there.
You're allowed to use the restroom.
The ushers in the hall, they promised that if they ever renovate Progressive Field, they'll change the setup.
For you?
No, for broadcasters, not for me. Orioles play 1 series a year here. Machado, Davis, Trumbo here in the 4th. Orioles trying to get something going against Salazar. He's retired 6 in a row.
That's what 7-0 games will do. We're talking about bathroom breaks.
Manny gets in the one to left field. Back goes Ramirez at the wall. It is off the wall and in play. And Manny's trying for a double, and the throw is off the bat. Kipnis can't handle the throw. It hits him in the head. Wow. How about that, Karam? Off the glove, straight up, and it came down and hit him in the head. So Machado's got a leadoff double in the 4th.
It sounds like a Michael Jordan ad right there. A hanging curveball, or maybe not hanging, but certainly up in the zone, and then this is what you're talking about. Ooh, off the brim of the hat. Almost got the sunglasses.
Coming into today, Manny Machado, through the first 46 game of the season, set a franchise record with extra base hits, 32 through 46 games. So now he adds another. That was Frank Robinson in 1967. That was the year after his Triple Crown season.
Well, he was actually on a better, he hit 49 home runs and 2 in the World Series in '66, won the Triple Crown. But he was on a better start until the collision with Al Weiss, breaking up a double play. Weiss had knee surgery. Frank had a concussion. And I don't think, to be honest, while he was one of the best players I've ever seen, 586 home runs, Hall of Fame, he was never quite as good because of that concussion. Yeah, that ball that Manny hit was a home run, Baltimore. I mean, this is, again, the short porch, if there is such, this ballpark is down the right field line. You got to get it up in the air and left.
Yeah, it's 19 feet high, that wall.
And when you walk out of the first time I ever came to this ballpark was the '95 World Series. Atlanta was playing the Indians. They had Hershiser and Dennis Martinez, and, they told me really good teams. Of course, Atlanta would win. When you come out of that dugout, it's the first thing you see here. If you come out of the first base dugout.
That grandstand out there almost looks like it should be at a football stadium. The way that it's all off by itself. 2-2 on Chris. Called out on strikes his first at bat. Every year they do something to renovate this ballpark.
Well, look, the board went. I mean, that's a new board since last year. The diamond vision is huge.
Ball 3. Yeah, in fact, that diamond vision right now it's in sections, but if they want, they could have one screen. Well, look at that, how big that is.
Well, yeah, early on, I mean, they just take off all the little sidebars there and where the ads are, and come see the kid tickets and whatever, and then it is one huge screen.
Chris protecting the inside corner. Kim jumped, Joey Rickard jumped, Adam Jones stayed put. Adam's a man's man.
He's a veteran.
Not bothered by foul balls.
Oh yeah, Paul Giannis said, "Don't worry, boys, I'll just catch it." That's what he does.
Catches everything. Well, 3-2 on Chris Davis. And he got him.
Yeah, just throws hard enough when he needs to. We went to 95. Saw the scouting report. Every once in a while he'll get into the upper 90s. No elevated fastball. 2 strikes already called out on a questionable pitch. You're not going to take it. And he swings right through it.
Trumbo with that double now has hit it 4 in a row. He also has homered in back-to-back games.
He smoked that double off the top of the wall straight away center field. Almost thought it had a chance to get out of here.
Let's get a look at our PNC inside the numbers. How valuable is Trumbo? Well, the Orioles 27 wins. Look at those outstanding numbers, but in the 19 losses held to 192 and just 2 home runs. He has been a force, and usually he's in the middle of the rally.
Well, he protects the hitters in front. Of course, if you hit behind him, you don't get a lot of RBI opportunities because he's driven them in. And get good changeup. Yeah, I mean, Salazar hasn't had to throw it because of the early lead, but he's got a plus changeup. So put them all together. And this is a guy that struggled early on. They had to send him back. Was too wild. Tommy John surgery earlier in his career. But he is healthy and he knows how to pitch.
And he gets Trumbo. So after a leadoff double, back-to-back Ks.
Yeah, he gets enough movement even on a hanger. The ball just kind of floated inside. Probably wanted to throw it down a little bit more, but the throws it almost to Scott Coolbaugh, the Orioles hitting instructor, was saying he almost throws it like a football. And Rick Manning, who played here for years and has been broadcasting, said one will go one way, one will go the other way. So good movement.
And Matt Wieters now. He came up with Trumbo at second in the second inning and lined out hard to center field. Strike at the knees, 0-1. Salazar has been so consistent this year. He's had 2 starts, no runs allowed. He's had 3 starts, 1 run allowed. He's had 2 starts with 2 runs allowed, and then he's had 1 start with 3 runs. And he loves pitching here at home. Look at those numbers since July of last year here at Progressive.
Those are the 9 starts. And
Kershaw's pretty good.
How about Arrieta?
Yeah, he's pretty good. 0-2 on Wieters. Well, Matt knows the strike zone as well as anyone, with him catching in front of Jim Wolf, so he didn't take any chances, just fouled that off.
Yeah, Jim Wolf's brother, Randy Wolf, longtime Major League left-hander. He's right-handed. My comment before the game is that if you don't throw hard, he's going to get the ball back to you harder than you throw. He fires it back.
Another foul ball. Yeah, when Randy was pitching, Major League Baseball had a rule that if the crew that Jim was assigned to came to a series that Randy Wolf was involved in, Jim was not permitted to umpire behind the plate with his brother on the mound. It was okay to be on the bases, but not behind the plate. And that's a good rule.
Oh, yeah.
So this would be the 5th pitch to Wieters. He was fouled off 2 in a row. There's a pop-up back of the plate. Nice effort there by Yan Gomes, but he just couldn't reach it.
Yeah, it's really, it's funny. When you see pop-ups, just imagine you don't really know where the ball went, so you got to throw the mask off. You got to find it. All right, he knows it up now, right there. Okay, there it is, and now I'm going to go try to catch it, and it does make a valiant effort. A lot of different things come into catching a pop-up. There's not all of them. I remember Rick Dempsey, when the old ballpark at Yankee Stadium, it went downhill. So, guys would hit pop-ups and like 3 or 4 times in a row, and they'd just be in the first row. Demper's sprinting back and coming back, and pop-up after pop-up. And then you're also running downhill, which kind of helps you the 4th time.
And pulled to second base. Right there is Kipnis. Plays a nice hop. And for a second time in this game, a leadoff double is stranded at second by the O's. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. The Indians in front. Visit us in-store or online at mile1.com. Well, the finale here tomorrow at 1 o'clock, also on WJZ, Massive 2 tomorrow. And then it's back home, the showdown with the Red Sox, 4-game series, which all kicks off daytime baseball 1:30 on Memorial Day on Monday. Those fans in Cleveland. There was a group of O's fans that were on the field before the game. They have some field passes, and one Orioles fan was telling me that the family knew Yan Gomes, and he was nice enough to give them passes to get on the field, even though they had all Orioles stuff on.
Well, they didn't come on the field till they waited to the Indians finish batting practice, and they paraded out.
Well, that was nice of you to pose for pictures, and sign autographs, and shake hands. Greet the mothers with the babies like you're running for office.
I was big here in Cleveland.
You were. Foul ball on the check swing. Lindor will be followed by Napoli and Ramirez.
We would come in here to open the season, and there'd be 77,000 in the old ballpark, and the next day there'd be 2,900 because it was freezing usually. But they'd always sell out opening day.
To Scope. And Lindor is retired and 1 away.
And then you'd learn that if you were pitching the second or third day with small attendance, and that park was so big, you could have 25,000 and they would not be past first. I mean, they always have the bleachers and the drums. You know, they have the guy that played the drums all the time for the Indians and all that. But you could have 25,000, they would be past first or third. That's how far back that stadium was. And this one is, I was here for that game 5 of when they were down 3-1 in the World Series in '95. You could, the energy in this ballpark in that game, you could have lit most of Cleveland and Ohio. It's unbelievable how intimate this park is.
0-2 on Napoli. That old ballpark, I only broadcast 1 game there. CBS game of the week, Johnny Bench and I, and the hardest thing of the day, you had to go through the stands to get to that broadcast booth, was getting Johnny Bench through the stands in Ohio. Even though he was a Red, they loved him here as well. Another ground ball to Scope. So 2 ground ball outs to begin the 4th. Fans, on Tuesday, June 7th, the Birds will battle Kansas City at 7:05, and the first 20,000 fans 15 and over receive the Orioles Golf Umbrella presented by Visit Sarasota County. Celebrate summer with a great night out with family and friends and pick up this new colorful umbrella to show off your black and orange. Now, good seats remain, so get your tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
Yeah, terrific race in the American League Central. I mean, the Royals, Moustakas had the ACL tear. He's out for the year. Gordon's hurt. If there's ever a good time to play the Royals.
And I saw a message today that I think Sal Perez had a collision today. And it's a Scope kind of an inning. 3 ground ball outs to John, and 1-2-3 go the Indians for the first time in this game. We'll head to the 5th. O's come to bat. They need some runs. The Boston-Toronto wrap. The Blue Jays defeated Boston, a walk-off single off Craig Kimbrell. So the Sox lead is a half game. The Orioles would have to win here, otherwise it'll stay a game. Blue Jays got 4 in the bottom of the 8th. Boston took the lead in the top of the 9th, and then the Toronto got 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Xander Bogaerts does extend this hitting streak. Boy, with 3 out of 5, 21 consecutive games. And there's Salazar going to work. Jonathan Scope, Pedro Alvarez, Joey Rickard against Salazar. Ground ball towards the middle, and it gets on through for a base hit. So Scope is on with a leadoff hit. The Orioles have 3 hits. All 3 have led off innings. And you'd love to at least give Salazar an uncomfortable inning.
Yeah, you're going to have to get multiple hits. And again, if you, we talked about it in the pregame, he's been that good where you have to anticipate to keep the game close, to have a chance to win. You just have to have your starting pitcher pitch well. And he didn't play well behind him. Baldo really did not have any idea with his command, and they jumped all over him. Now, it doesn't mean you can't maybe get the bullpen in here, maybe put 2-3 runs on the board, but that's just hard to do lately the way he's pitched. And what happens when you have a significant lead, and 7-0 is significant? Number one, you have to get out of this inning to register for the win, so that's certainly sometimes a roadblock for some pitchers, or a speed bump. The other thing is you can relax because one pitch isn't going to beat you.
Salazar very pitch efficient in this game.
Yeah, 23 pitches for balls, 43 for strikes. You can see a lot of fastballs. The last inning or so has used the changeup to get some strikeouts.
And now the shadows are coming into play. 3-1 on Pedro. The light stanchions are so high here because the grandstand, the upper deck, is so high. You can see the shadows from the lights. So one is creeping behind the mound, one right in front of the mound, and one right where Pedro is at home plate. That ball's crushed to right field. Back on it is Chisenhall, and it's over his head, and it bounces up into the stands for a ground rule double. So the Indians get a break. For the moment, Scope easily would have scored. So it is second and third and nobody out.
Yeah, third baseman playing right field, and I mean this ball tomahawk. 3-1 fastball, looks for it, gets it. And he's going to try to catch up with it. And again, I don't think he ever could have caught it. The only possible way is to take a direct line, and we saw last night almost misplayed.
So Pedro just his third hit on the trip. He's 3 for 16, but he gets in the scoring position, pushes Scope to third. So the Orioles trying to chip away here in the middle of the game. Here's Joey Rickard. Joey popped up his first at bat. He's had a tough trip. He is 4 for 24 on the trip.
Yeah, Mark Quattrero, their assistant hitting coach, was actually his minor league hitting instructor when Joey came up through Tampa Bay. And of course, first thing he said, "How's he doing?" I said, "Well, he's a good young player, but it's quite a jump." And of course, when you have some success, towards the end of April, he's hitting like 350. So now they pitch him a little differently. That still has gotten some big hits for the Orioles. Still can hit the fastball. Very good for a young player. Maybe not there, but huge jump for Rule 5 players.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you think about it, last year he was in Port Charlotte on the Charlotte Stone Crabs in the Florida State League. Now he's facing Danny Salazar in Cleveland. Good eye for ball 2, 2-1.
And they ask him to lead off, where the responsibility is to take some pitches. He's done a great job of that. Good defender. Very quick. The master of the infield hit because of his speed. In fact, the Orioles have the second most infield hits of any team. Seems to think it's kind of a.
You wouldn't think that.
No, you wouldn't.
46 of them.
And he's a big part of that. Only the Mariners have more. 49 coming into today.
This is a team that looks to hit him to the bleachers, not in the infield. Meantime, 3-1 on Joey Rickard. And he almost hit him, ball 4. The bases are loaded with nobody out. So here's the Orioles' chance to get back in this game.
Well, you ought to get a pretty good fastball to hit early in the count here, because you know Salazar wants to get back into a rhythm. Back when we were in Houston, George Will was sitting with Astros owner Jim Crane, and of course he wrote the book Men at Work, and one of them was, you know, what starting pitchers have to go through, and one of the, again, the more difficult times when a starter's trying to get the win, he has to get 15 outs, has to pitch through the 5th inning.
Adam Jones, third at bat.
Well, there's your fastball, and it's good enough that you can't quite get to it.
This is the time of day that it's tough for the hitters. 5:37 local time. Normally this would be batting practice time.
And they'd be throwing about 83.
Yeah.
And you know it was coming.
Yeah, it would be Mark Quinn, not Danny Salazar. Chop foul. It's 0-2.
Well, for strikeout pitchers, and you know, he came in striking out 11 per 9 innings. These are the counts you live for. Thinking, okay, bases loaded. You know what the Orioles are trying to do, but you know he, when he gets to this count, is trying to strike out Adam Jones.
Adam has flied out and grounded out. He is 6 for 33, but no RBIs on the road trip. Big chance here, but he's down in the count 0-2. Fought that one off. Nice crowd on hand here today for this day game. A lot going on downtown. They're still filming the movie Fast and Furious in downtown.
8.
Fast Furious 8. I'm sorry. Not a fan of the series.
Well, you got a lot of movies to catch up with.
I do. I got 7 of them. 0-2 on Jones, battling Salazar. And then he fights that one off. Buck Showalter, when he was meeting with the media before the game, Caleb Joseph walked by and he yelled at him. He said, "Hey, Caleb, did you get in the movie?" And he goes, "No." And Buck said that Caleb walked by the set last night on his way back to the hotel. He was trying to get in there to be an extra. But Caleb said they told him he was too nice for that movie, so he couldn't get in. He tried to walk on the movie set.
And then they told him he was from Tennessee, and they said, "Hey, well, come on, kid, come on."
0-2 on Jones, bases loaded, nobody out. Center field, deep enough to get a run in. Alvarez will also tag at second. Davis will fire towards third base. Here comes Scope to score, and the Orioles get on the board. So it's a sac fly and an RBI, and 7-1. That was a real good at bat by Adam Jones after falling behind.
Well, you got to get on the board. I mean, the rally's got to start somewhere. Gets a good pitch after the walk. There's a little splitter that he fouls off, fights that off. He's looking for a strikeout. Another good pitch he fouls off, and then a curveball. Well, he gets the out, but the Orioles not only get the run, they get Alvarez, who doubled. He goes all the way to third.
So Adams' first RBI in the road trip and his 20th of the year.
Well, we see him swinging a little bit better, because there were some tough pitches to even keep the bat alive, and he was able to get the sacrifice fly.
Well, here's Kim 0 for 2. Ball one outside. Salazar slowed down his pace a little bit here. And perfectly executed pitch on the outside corner. Salazar 1-1 in his career against the Orioles. In his 2 starts prior to today, an ERA of 2.25. He won in June of last year, and he beat Ubaldo that day, but it was a 2-1 final. So,
yeah, good pitch right there. That's that 2-seamer. Start him at the front hip and let it run back. Well, he's going to try to do what he couldn't do to Adam Jones, which is to strike out Kim.
Kim behind 1-2, first and third with 1 down. Line drive caught by Kipnis. That's the only play he has. And a tough break there for Kim. A couple of feet either way. He's got a base hit. With 2 men down. Runners have to hold.
Well, he just has the ability to put the bat on the ball, and that's a curved ball, slows the swing down. You're right. I thought Kipnis might let it bounce, but I think when you have a 7-1 lead, you'll take the out in the air. Don't want the ball getting by you.
Now here's Manny, who has been on base twice. He walked in the first, and then he doubled off the wall to left field in the fourth. So Manny now has a 5-game hitting streak. He is 8 for his last 15. So he has found his stroke. His 6th career 4-hit game last night. Fastball for a strike. Salazar's loss to the Orioles came August 17th of 2014 in a game started by Kevin Gausman. Ball strike in the inside corner. Manny doesn't think so. He's nodding his head no.
Well, see again, Gomes is way outside, and
Wow.
you can just see him move the glove. It looks like the ball's probably 3-4 inches off the plate inside.
And that's a bad call. Looked like it went down the chalk line of the batter's box. And now Manny down 0-2. Outside. Hey, I don't blame Salazar for doing that. If they're giving you pitches off the plate, go a little further and see if you get more.
Well, the good pitchers can do that, the command guys. But today he's gotten probably 3 to 5 pitches where Gomes not anywhere close, and Wolf is still calling strikes. A nice little breaking ball, and of course you know what he's looking for. He's looking for a strikeout, get out of the inning.
Well, the Orioles had the bases loaded, nobody down. They have a run in on the sac fly by Jones, but now 2 men away. Machado looking for a big 2-out base hit. Keeping the pressure on Salazar. Bounced, and that is a foul ball down the line. So Manny really battling here. It's about to see the 6th pitch in this at bat. Runners on the corners, 2 down, 7-1 Cleveland. Another foul ball.
Yeah, that's what the scouting report said, that he can get into the mid to upper 90s, and that pitch in 96. He's been 92 to 93, 4, maybe occasionally 95. And again, guys with gifted arms can do that. Their windups are good enough where you kind of stay over the rubber and you speed up the arm, and that's how you add.
7th pitch to Manny. Upstairs, ball 3. Salazar signed with the Indians when he was 16, and he was brought along very, very slowly. His first season he spent in the Dominican Summer League, and the following year the Gulf Coast League. And then he finally got to a full season team in low A ball in 2009, his 3rd season. Rickard will be off with the pitch, 3-2 with 2 down. Alvarez is not forced. And he got him. Machado down on strikes on a changeup, and the Orioles set up for a run. Mid-5th, 7-1 Cleveland. Bottom of the 5th. Is that the Bob Feller statue? A nice Legends Park, if you will, out beyond the center field gate. The fans can actually see the statues even on a non-game day because they are beyond the gates. They saw a Tomey statue out there, Bob Feller statues out there. Vance Worley's done a good job. He's allowed only 1 run in 2 1/3 innings since taking over for Ubaldo. Ball 1 inside.
Yeah, and that run came in the 3rd double single.
Sharply hit, diving stop by Alvarez. Fires across the scoop. Nope, it got by Davis. And that's going to be a throwing error as it got beyond Davis into the camera well.
Yeah, really great effort to catch it. You know, the short hop earlier in the 1st inning was a tough play. I mean, look at this one. I mean, this ball's ripped. Full out. And then he gets up and probably had a little more time. And then usually, well, really, I mean, he's got a strong arm. It can be a little inaccurate. But again, so much on it, Chris Davis can't corral it.
That should be a hit and an error, but I only see an error posted on the scoreboard. Pop foul out of play.
Yeah, you see Gomes, even though it's 7-1, try to shoot one to right field, which is what he did the first time up. 2-run single back in the 1st. Nice little ground ball between 1st and 2nd.
So I guess in the opinion of the official score, a good throw gets him, so it's a straight throwing error on Alvarez, even though he made a great diving stop on the front end of the play. Here's a strike. 0-2. So Pedro's committed 2 errors in this game. First one was very costly in the 1st inning. Orioles are in a bit of a fielding slump, which you don't normally see with this team. Here's the 0-2, fouled off the other way.
Well, you see it when J.J. Hardy is, you know, closing in on being a month on the disabled list with a broken left foot. So you have to move people around, and people that normally would be DHs or would play sporadically in positions are playing a little bit more. But you're right about that. I mean, Manny made what, 2 errors in the 1st inning the other night in Houston, and he's played great at shortstop.
So the Orioles now have 25 errors. They have slipped on this road trip from the best fielding team in the league to 5th. They now have 9 errors on this road trip. And there's another base hit, this one to left field. Runners being sent. Throw will be cut off by Alvarez. RBI single for Gomes, who has a 3 RBI game. And it's 8-1. The Indians get that run right back.
Yeah, Juan Uribe makes sure the ball got over the head of Manny Machado, and then the scouting report said that Hyun-Soo Kim doesn't have a great arm, so now he's waiting. Now he goes. And again, kind of back steps to play it so it doesn't get by him. And then again, not known for having an outstanding arm. That makes it 8-1.
Mike Sarball, the 3rd base coach, was waving him in the entire way. We're getting a pinch hitter here. Michael Martinez will pinch hit for Chisenhall. Fouls it off the other way. This is the kind of a game that you wonder what they might do for tomorrow, especially with back-to-back day games coming tomorrow and Monday. To get some help in that bullpen. They do have one advantage tomorrow, is that Chris Tillman is starting, so if Tillman pitches his normal game, he should get deep into the game. But Worley's going to be unavailable for the next several days. That ball's hit to the gap. Kim on the run, and it hangs up there long enough, and he gets it. Hustling back to first is Yan Gomes. One away in the Cleveland 5th. The Orioles are back home at Camden Yards on Monday to begin a 4-game series with the division rival Red Sox after the Memorial Day game, the matinee at 1:35. The O's and Red Sox will then battle Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, all at 7:05. So paint the ballpark orange for the showdown for first place in the AL East. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD for your tickets. Those fans couldn't wait. They came to Cleveland. Here's Davis. There's no one in the rotation that would be sent out. In the bullpen, the only two pitchers who have options that would be optioned are Givens and Tolliver. But Tolliver is the other lefty. And Givens has been pitching well, but if you need an arm, you may have to sacrifice somebody.
Well, you would think that you would be Tolliver because you could recall him and then you could bring up somebody that maybe is a long man if you feel like you have somebody.
Or the other thing that could be done is
the starters could pitch well.
Well,
that's an option.
Position player wise, they have Flaherty that they could send out. He has options. Giannis would have to get through waivers. So there's not a lot of wiggle room on this roster. I mean, Worley's doing all he can do to save as many of the other arms as he can. So if he's unavailable till Tuesday or Wednesday, that's okay if the rest of the bullpen stays intact for tomorrow.
And because
we're only in the fifth inning.
And the other thing is that, of course, you're only going to have to play 8 innings if you end up trailing. Good pitch right there. Well, we saw him even when he got roughed up in Texas when he got a start. I mean, he pitched 6 innings.
Yeah.
So he knows how to pitch. He's willing to do it. He can change speed. He's not going to overreact to giving up a few more runs. And he's a big guy. I mean, he's a strong guy, and he's got a rubber arm.
Well, there's something to be said in a game like this for somebody to save the bullpen for the next game. And the whole objective is, well, you want to win every game, but you want to win the series. So the series is still in play tomorrow, even if the Orioles don't come back in this game and they have their best pitcher, Chris Tillman, on the mound. There's a bouncer to second base. Scope has it. They'll go to second for the force there on the sliding Gomes. And the inning ends. Another run, an unearned run on the error. Our Honda do-ups, Davis, Trumbo, and Wieters as we head to the 6th.
Trying to get off to a good start after a walk and a single and a fielder's choice advancement. Alvarez can't make the play. 2 runs will score. And then Yan Gomes comes up, finds a hole by Scope. A couple more runs will score to make it 4-0 in the first inning. And then the second, Lindor gets on, steals a base. And then check out this bat. That bat by Napoli just reaches out, balls up a little bit, serves it into left field. They would score 2 more runs in the second inning. Those are your Geico highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Here's Chris Davis leading off in the 6th. Breaking ball for a strike. Michael Martinez pinch hit for Chisenhall and stays in the game in right field. Chris is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. The 21st game this year he's had at least 2 strikeouts in the game. Falls behind 0-2. Trumbo and Wieters will follow. Orioles scored in the top of the 5th, but the Indians got the run right back. So once again, a 7-run lead. Up and away, 1-2. Tampa Bay is beating the Yankees 6-1, so another tough start for Pineda.
Yeah, he had won his last start. And I thought maybe he would be able to get back on track.
That must have been some game at Rogers Center with the Blue Jays beating Boston 10-9. There were 28 base hits in that game. That is a ground ball fair. Napoli gloves. And he'll go unassisted. Davis retired, 1 away here in the Orioles 6th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Big crowd on hand at Progressive Field, downtown Cleveland. City was a buzz last night with the Cavaliers winning the Eastern Conference Championship in the NBA. Cavaliers Arena is right next to Progressive Field.
Yeah, congratulations to the Cavs. The game number 6, Warriors in Oklahoma City is on tonight. Down at Oklahoma City, 3-2 lead against the team that set the all-time record, the Warriors.
There's where the Cavs play. Empty on the left field grandstand.
Well, how about LeBron? I mean, it's 6 straight years
in the finals.
Yeah. In the finals. Heat, and now the Cavaliers are back to the Cavaliers.
So if he's on your team, you're pretty good.
Well, you know you're going to be busy in June.
Basketball used to be a winter game. When it was cold out, you go inside.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
Teeing you up there, Cakes.
Well, they just go because it is. I always found it kind of unusual. I mean, if you go to Toronto in the middle of the winter, baseball's on about the 8th page, and if the Canadian team is in the Stanley Cup Finals, then you're still on the 8th page, even though the Blue Jays have a good team. And then you go into some cities where NBA teams and baseball is on the 4th or 5th page. The sports overlap.
Yeah, now if you have a long World Series, it could be pushing November, but that's still autumn. You still have till the 3rd week of December before winter hits. That ball's hit well down the line. That is a fair ball. Late call there by Lance Barksdale. And Trumbo's going to have a double. So another wall ball for Mark Trumbo. He hit one off the center field wall his first at bat.
Yeah, and Ramirez is looking down in the corner like, was it really fair?
Well, Barksdale initially didn't call anything, and then he stuck his arm out. Yeah, right on the line.
Right on the yellow line.
And I think Terry Francona wants this reviewed.
Or maybe going to get a second opinion.
Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, is the second base umpire. Yep, and they're going to get a challenge here. It looked like it hit right on the yellow line, so that's a fair ball.
Well, I mean, it hits right there, and yeah, that's fair. It hit the yellow line.
The line is the extension of the foul pole, which is up on the concourse.
I mean, if it's another 1.5 inches to the left, in fact, you know what? I mean, if it's to the left, it's a home run. So why would you, if it didn't hit the yellow line, it's a home run. Am I right? Because or is it foul?
No, it would be foul there.
Foul, you're right there.
They have that,
I guess,
that little section because it's in foul territory. But they marked the line there. But this one.
Well, this ought to take about 30 seconds.
It won't.
I know, but.
Trumbo should have his second double of the game. And Trumbos is awarded second base where he will stay. And now for some reason Buck is coming out and he wants an explanation. I think he wants to know, was that a challenge or did Francona say, hey, would you mind looking this over? It was a crew chief review. He asked him to look and the crew chief said okay, which is his prerogative.
So now 4 doubles for the Orioles.
So here comes Matt Wieters.
Yeah, Salazar, for as good as he is really not one of these real pitch efficient guys. Coming in, he was a little bit over 17 pitches per inning, so he's a little bit above that today. Scoreboard says 8-1, but they made him work. It's just that he had such a big cushion.
Wieters to left field. That chases Ramirez back near the wall. That's off the wall and in play. Trumbo read it perfectly. He's going to score. And Wieters heads to second base with an RBI double. So it's an 8-2 game, and Wieters extends his hitting streak to 8 in a row.
Yeah, such a good high fastball hitting team, and that's what Matt gets, and he just kind of goes with it. If you go back to the Saturday night game in Anaheim, down the last out, Davis walks, Trumbo or hits a single, Trumbo walks, and then Matt goes over the left center field fence for a 3-run home run, and the Orioles win.
Old friend Tommy Hunter is getting loose. Callaway was out for a chat to give Danny Salazar a breather. Salazar is so tough to hit. Lefties were hitting 158 and righties 204. It's incredible. And he was allowing 5.8 hits per 9 innings in his starts coming in. Scope line drive caught by Uribe. It's been that kind of a day.
Yeah, you're getting, I mean, it's been that kind of a game because Ubaldo Jimenez didn't pitch well. So you've never really been in the game, but offensively, they really haven't been that bad a day. Get unlucky there. And if you don't make good pitches, you're seeing why the Orioles are pretty good offense. But again, you have to play in concert. They were out of tune today because of the starting pitching.
So Scope is denied. Kim hit into tough luck his last at bat. Here's Pedro Alvarez. And a borderline called strike again from Jim Wolf. Pedro slumps the shoulders. Ubaldo back on the bench. It can't be a strike if he waits until they move the glove to call it a strike, right? Well, and that's what he did right there.
Well, it can be because he's done it.
He's the umpire, and he's done it.
Right. He umpires pretty upright.
Got away momentarily from Gomes. Wieters back to the base. Two and one on Pedro. Inside ball 3. is well over 100 pitches now.
Yeah, you would think if he doesn't get Pedro Alvarez out with Rickard on deck and Tommy Hunter. You would think.
Ground ball. Kipnis a diving stop. He gets up and he throws him out. Outstanding defense in this inning for the Indians, and the Orioles settle for a run. RBI double by Wieters mid-6th, 8-2 Indians. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. Now that's a nice area to watch the game. They had some couches. Nice crowd on this Saturday afternoon, Memorial Day weekend.
Rain in the forecast. So
for tonight.
Was at 50% at game time, but that changed.
Did you check the flags when you walked on the field?
No, it's not Fenway Park. I just run up the ramp. Because if they were blowing out, I'd come up with a neck injury.
Skip. It hurts.
9 o'clock.
By then you'll be enjoying a steak or a salmon.
I might have to go for Lake Erie fish, or maybe not. They probably have probably trout. Not sure.
2-2 on Kipnis leading off. Check swing and appeal to third. He didn't go.
And not close.
Left center field. Long run for Adam Jones, but he'll get there. Wow, does he get a great first step. Fans, you can visit Orioles.com/vote-orange now and vote for the 2016 All-Star Game. Vote at least 5 times and select the O's as your favorite team. You'll be entered to win an All-Star Game jersey signed by the Orioles All-Stars. Plus, if you vote at least 20 times and select the O's, you'll receive a promo code for a buy one get one ticket offer for any game in the July series against Colorado in Interleague Baseball in Baltimore. Vote early, vote often, vote orange. Orioles.com/vote-orange. We just got word Lonnie Chisenhall left the game because he had some blurred vision. So they took him out as a precaution.
Yeah, I wonder if they, he had that double, and when he slid in, you could see him, the head first slide. And we talked about Vance Worley being, he's 6'2", about 250. If you hit him, you're going to get hurt. Hurt whatever, even your fist or hand or whatever. I mean, he's got a very unusual, deceptive windup. Tom Chidi, the bullpen coach, said he almost like pole vaults over his front side, so he hides the ball well. again, it's one of these movement guys. Throw strikes, make the ball move within the confines of the strike zone.
Slap foul the other way. Kim on the run, but that's back in the crowd. Vince Worley doing an outstanding job here. There was a game against Seattle on the last homestand. There's a walk with one down. But Seattle beat the Orioles 10-0. And Worley came into the game and he pitched the final 3 innings. So no one else even had to get up and get loose in that game. So he essentially saved the bullpen for bucking the Orioles for the next day. And the next day the Orioles won. A strike taken.
He's kind of a right-handed TJ McFarland, who's now at AAA Norfolk because of roster problem. I mean, righties and lefties, they almost hit them identical. 250 for lefties, 259 for righties. He can pitch multiple innings.
Michael Givens is now getting loose. That game against Seattle, incidentally, was also started by Ubaldo. Ubaldo lasted 4 1/3 in that one. He lasted 1 2/3 today. Inside. Napoli has a couple of RBIs, one on the error by Pedro Alvarez. He hit a bouncer down the third base line, runners at second and third, and Alvarez just missed it. Both runners scored, but he was only credited with the first runner as the RBI, and then in the second inning he had an RBI single. One out, one on in the 6th. And a slow roller. Norfolk is at home. So if the Orioles needed to call somebody up from Norfolk, logistically it would be easy to do. Swing and a miss. He got him. So Napoli down on strikes.
Yeah, everything up, cut, whatever, and then makes a perfect pitch down and away. Probably thought about throwing him a curveball, but I think Napoli's done a nice job of waiting on breaking balls. Bottom of the strike zone. That's about the 7th pitch he saw. So you can see him wave at it. He tried to just peck it foul. Couldn't do it. Pitcher's pitch.
Here's Ramirez, ground ball towards the middle. Scope will flip to Manny. Nicely done, and that ends the inning. Another one-out walk and one left, and another fine defensive play by the combo of Scope and Machado. We are through 6 in Cleveland. Slick defense ends the inning.
for the 5th time. They get the early lead. He gives up 6 hits, 5 of those doubles. But because of the big cushion, Orioles really trying to play for the big inning, so he gets himself in and out of trouble. 107 pitches. And he will leave. Tommy Hunter last year left the Orioles and went to the Cubbies, and then this year they didn't pitch in spring training because of an off-season core muscle injury. Saw him today. He said, the same 96, 2-seamer, got a little bit of cutter. He throws to the lefty, so not a lot of innings, but he's done a nice job. We've seen over the years when he was with the Orioles, he can start, he can relieve, and kind of morphed into reliever, throwing in the mid-90s. And he can throw in that little curveball from time to time.
There's always some anxiousness, I think, when you face your former team for the first time.
Probably not as much when you're throwing 96, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he knows everybody. I saw him today. He's in the hallway talking to Manny Machado.
Never forget the day he was traded to the Cubs. They had a impromptu press conference in the hallway between the interview room and the clubhouse. And at the end of it, he wanted to hug every member of the media.
Well, didn't he get traded in the last 30 seconds of the trading deadline?
Looked like he was going to stay, and then off he went to the Cubs, where he got 19 games. Rickard leads off. Jones and Kimmel follow. Orioles need base runners, down by 6. Get on any way you can.
Yeah, Tommy's got to pitch to the scoreboard, so you would think he'd get a fastball. Joey'd get a fastball right here. You can see the target down and away. He missed with it. Well, at the least, you'd like to have Terry Francona, skipper of the Indians, have to get the bullpen up.
He's hiding. Strike in the inside corner, another borderline call.
Oh, Jimmy.
And there's a leadoff walk, so that's how you start it. And speaking of walks, for every Orioles walk this year, CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield will contribute $50 to support Be More for Healthy Babies. The Orioles have drawn 144 walks for a total of $7,200. CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle.
Oh, that walk was worth $50. That's great. Great cause. A couple of causes. The Orioles are down 8-2.
Here's Adam Jones, 0 for 2 with an RBI and a sac fly.
Yeah, I still remember, we talked about when Tommy got traded. I remember when he came over to the Orioles, we had seen him as a starting pitcher for the Rangers. In fact, one year he won 13 games. And he comes over to the Orioles, and we're in Kansas City, and he comes out of the bullpen throwing 96 or 97. So from then on, he'd start, and then he would relieve, but much better fastball when he comes out of the pen. Wow.
0-2 on the breaking ball called strike. And Adam just said wow. So Tommy's on the Indians now, so he could have a full beard.
Well, that's why I walked by. He said, "Aren't you going to say hello?" I said, "Wait a minute, Tommy, big game hunter."
Shakes off Yan Gomes twice. Let's see what he throws here on 0-2. Slow curveball is ripped to left center field. Back towards the wall it goes, and that ball's off the wall. Another wall ball. Rickard is being sent. Here comes the relay throw. No throw to the plate, and Adam Jones has a 2 RBI game. So a leadoff walk, now a double, and it's 8-3.
Yeah, and that's going to get. I mean, they have a pretty good bullpen. That's going to get somebody up, I would imagine. I mean, you got a cushion, but that cushion just got smaller. Curveball, and again, Ramirez, he just kind of goes to the gap and plays it off the wall, as does Davis. So again, what kind of read? Young player, plays in front of him. He sees the ball off the wall. It's just a matter right here to pick up Bobby Dickerson, the third base coach. About a 270-foot sprint to home plate. And Adam likes it. Gets an RBI. Orioles get their third run. That is now 6 doubles on the afternoon. Or actually make it, 6 doubles.
Kim has a base hit the other way. Adam had to wait to make sure it got through. He'll be held at third. So Kim gets another base hit. He's 1 out of 4. And a good piece of hitting there just went with it.
You know, it's funny. Tommy Hunter came in and really, pitched well for the Orioles. But one of the things, especially when you have a big lead, is sometimes you throw too many strikes. They will get somebody up in their bullpen.
Well, this is the time of the game where the Orioles have really thrived. Here's the run differential, innings 7, 8, and 9. The Orioles are at plus 31. Only the Cardinals and the Cubs better. Orioles best in the American League.
Yeah, that's a combination of a late inning offense and a good bullpen. Brian Shaw may get loose.
Still nobody out. Here's Machado. Outside, ball 1.
And it doesn't get any easier when you get into this part of the lineup. You're pitching to the scoreboard, so you don't want to walk people. But then again, you come in, if your command's not good, too many balls in the middle of the plate. See right there, he's going to go in, but again, how do you know you have that kind of command? You don't always have all cylinders firing out of the bullpen.
Manny with a 2-0 count. And a called strike 2-1. Only Jones and Wieters, Tommy's former teammates, have faced him as an opposing pitcher. Good take there. They appeal. He didn't go. Adrian Johnson said he checked. Wayne Kirby imitating Adrian Johnson, saying that he checked. He's probably going to get a good pitch here. He doesn't want to walk him to load the bases.
Yeah, probably should be a fastball.
And a chopper to short. Lindor second out there. Back to first. Double play. Run scores, but that might be a rally killer.
Well, they turn it nicely. Manny getting bigger, so the speed not there, but pretty routine because it's a very fast infield here. So it's almost a couple of hops and hard hops. Look how hard the ball, and he gets it on the really before it even bounces twice. Nice little turn to Kipnis and then over to first base, and happily getting the second out.
So it is 8-4, but the bases are empty and 2 men down. Here's Chris Davis. These two came to the Orioles in the same trade.
Well, it's all about Darren O'Day. He gets hurt. They need a bullpen guy. They want Koji Urahara, and the Orioles trade for Chris Davis and Tommy Hunter. And then after O'Day gets well, Buck Showalter goes out and gets him.
Line drive, base hit to right field. Even over the shift there, Kipnis was out there, so Davis has a single. Third hit in the inning, fourth base runner. Well, now you get a long ball. It's a little interesting.
And here comes Francona. Yeah, you just have too good a bullpen to go that much farther with Tommy Hunter.
So the Orioles have 2 on the board. They're back within 4. Brian Shaw getting loose to come in. Tommy Hunter will leave after 2/3 of an inning. 8-4 Cleveland. Pitching change at Progressive Field.
out of the bullpen for the Indians. You know, fastball, 94 mile-per-hour range, slider, but you know the fastball's a cutter. So a lot of movement. See across his body. And comes out of Livermore, California, where he was born. Now lives in Arizona. Big guy, 6'1", 220. The one number that jumps out, obviously, the 345 by the lefties. Again, you know, good velocity and good movement.
Well, he will face Mark Trumbo, who has found his stroke. 2 hits today. He's now hitting 4 in a row. It's his 14th multi-hit game. So 2 runs in. Davis on at first. Orioles back within 4. Trumbo has seen Shaw twice. He is 0 for 2 against him. There is rain in the area. Most of it seems to be over the lake. Ball 2.
Another cutter. Yeah, when the wind changes here in Cleveland, it can get cooler. It can change very quickly.
Trumbo taking all the way, 2-1.
Well, he's trying to get on. He knows what the scoreboard says, and that's a sign of a good hitter. Willing to hit with 1 strike on.
Hanging breaking ball, and he missed it. Fouled it back.
Yeah, gutsy pitch. You know, wanted to fool him because I know Brian Shaw's been around long enough with all these appearances that he knows how well he's swinging, but he did hang that curveball, but just the fact he threw it. But that was a get me over hook. Get back in the count. He got lucky because he did foul it off.
And low, ball 3. Shaw came to the Indians in that big trade that got Trevor Bauer here as well. The 3-team trade between the Indians and Arizona and the Reds. It's his 4th season with the Indians. Davis will be off with the pitch, 3-2 with 2 men down. And a slow roller towards third that bounces foul.
Yeah, his bread and butter pitch. I mean, he's thrown a couple of curveballs, but it's that cutter. Front ball, better high ball hitter. He tried to throw it down in the zone, and Mark was able to foul it off. You know, another guy. I mean, you see very few relievers that ever turned out to be starters. It's kind of reversed. He was a starter coming through the minor leagues with Arizona.
He's another Long Beach State product. Went to high school in California, but now lives in Arizona. The Orioles are chipping back in. 3-2 with 2 down. Davis will be off with the pitch again. And a base hit in the left field. Trumbo has a single. It's 4 hits in the inning. That was some at bat. 7-pitch at bat, and Trumbo gets a base hit, and now here's Wieters with a chance to do some damage, and he's been hot.
Red hot. And again, Ray, you know, when he's hitting well, and we can see this is Houston slicing the ball everywhere against the Angels. Of course, he had the 3-run home run off of Joe Smith. Gave the Orioles a win on Saturday night. Down to their last out when he hit that home run over the left center field fence. Right now, I mean, he'd do it again, but he'd also take just getting on, keep the rally alive.
Yeah, sometimes with these kind of rallies, the home run can be a rally killer. Although a home run makes it a 1-run game, I'm sure they take it. Well, okay. I mean, in the sense that it calms the pitcher down. There's nobody on base. I believe I'd still take it.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, of course, if we hit a home run now, it would be a Weaver or a 3-run home run, and everybody would be jumping up and down, and they'd be getting people up in their bullpen and Terry Francona would say, boy, this was such a delightful afternoon, and it's not quite as delightful anymore.
And Weeder strikes out. So Shaw gets the out after the hit by Trumbo. Bird settle for 2 and Strand 2 more. 7th inning stretch, 8-4 Cleveland. We head to the bottom of the 7th, where the weather is changing in Cleveland. Now the breeze coming in. There's some weather outside, just outside the downtown area, over the lake. 8-4 game, and here's Michael Givens on for the 7th.
Yeah, he's really been pitching well for the Orioles. Fastball, slider, occasional, and I mean occasional changeup. You know, owning right-handers. Really pitched well down in Houston. Still working on the lefties. That number has come down. It was like 555 going into Houston. Now the Orioles within 4.
So very important for Givens to keep it as is. O's have 6 more outs to work with. 2-0. Givens last worked on Thursday. 2/3 of an inning scoreless at Houston. He's had 6 consecutive scoreless appearances. Has not allowed a run the entire month of May. And a 4-pitch walk, the first batter he faces. So the Indians will try to get some of those runs back. Here's our AL League leaders, brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. When leading after 7 innings, the Indians are perfect, 23-0. Yankees are 22-0. Kansas City 21-0. The Orioles are 20-2 when they have the lead after 7 innings. The Indians have been the best, not relinquishing 1 lead, and they have the lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Strike taken by Gomes.
Yeah, about as straight away defense you're ever going to see against a hitter nowadays. Maybe a step up the middle by Scope. 2. You could see, I mean, Jan really making a conscious effort, and it's worked out today because got a couple of base hits of waiting and trying to shoot the ball to right field, trying to get that average up over 200, and that's a good way to do it. Stay inside the ball, use the hole. I mean, the same hole with a runner on it that we always talk about with left-handers up, it's still there for the righties if you're willing to, or you can hit the ball that way.
Breaking ball, he fouls off, trying to go the other way. Tolliver gets up in the pen. Looks like he's in a hurry.
He's a reliever. Getting loose.
Oh, 2 on Gomes with Uribe on at first. Foul back to our right. Hit by Mike Bordick again. They're trying to hit Bordick.
What do you go 112 games without an error, and he didn't win a Gold Glove?
No, because Alex Rodriguez hit a bunch of home runs. They gave it to Alex Rodriguez that year.
Can they retroactively take away that Gold Glove because of the home runs, because of PEDs? Do you think so? Yeah. Take away the Heisman.
He set the major league record for most consecutive games without an error, and did not win the Gold Glove because the voters gave it to Alex Rodriguez, because back then in his prime all he did was hit a bunch of home runs against the opponents, and that's what they remembered him.
Well, he was a good defender. I'm not saying he had the kind of credentials that Mike had, but
left field, Wind has it. Kim comes in on the ball and makes the catch. Wow, did the Wind have that?
Well, the Wind's blowing straight off the lake now, and he's going right across the field. And if you look over the big diamond vision, I mean, it is gusting in. But again, I mean, he actually makes a good play. It's a big swing. And right here, he realizes, oh no, better come, and he does. Comes real hard, makes a nice catch. Will rig the field when the wind changes off Lake Michigan.
Bouncer into the hole. There's a base hit. And Martinez has a hit. It is first and second and one down here in the Cleveland 7th. Fans, you can follow Orioles baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. You get live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet.
Yeah, Michael Martinez out hitting early, and did exactly what you want to do. Routine ground ball, except because you're holding a runner on, there's a huge hole that you look for.
And the breaking ball in there for a strike. Foul back. Fights it off to stay alive. Zach McAllister getting loose. Up and in. And a swing and a miss. He got him.
Yeah, nice fastball, elevates. You know, he's so deceptive, especially against righties. Little turn, don't really see it. Good velocity, good location, out of the zone. That's what you can do when you get ahead. But you can't catch it. But
by the way, that year in 2002 for Morty, 110 consecutive games without an error. That's a big league record that still holds. He made 1 error all year. Alex Rodriguez made 10 errors, but he had 57 homers. Now here's Santana, who is 1 out of 4. He singled leading off in the bottom of the first and came around to score. And that ball's lifted in the right field, and that's a base hit. Rickard over towards the line. Uribe will score. Being held at third is Martinez, and on at first with an RBI single is Carlos Santana. That's a tough one. Now it's 9-4, and the Birds once again down by 5.
Well, it's that lefty number we showed you at 455, and you know, you talk to Dom Sheedy, Dave Wallace, the Oriole pitching coach. You know that you've got to make good pitches. That ball's down the middle. Now he hooks it, so I think the bat actually, I guess it comes out of his hand, but I mean, he kind of hooks it down the corner. So it's really not about stuff, Michael. It's especially against lefties, it's about location of the stuff. They just see the ball a little bit longer because the right-handers, he's kind of stepping right at you.
Here's Kipnis. And he'll look at a strike, a fastball. So twice in this game now, when the Orioles have scored, the Indians come right back in their half and score. A little bit low. 1-1 on the count on Kipnis, who is 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. One and two on the swing and a miss.
Well, you know that the last thing Michael Gibbons wanted to do come in and walk one Uribe, but he did. And that's the one run that has scored so far in this inning.
Runner goes, pitch taken. Wieters throws on through. It's off the glove of Machado, and here's Martinez to score.
Yeah, probably going to be an error on Matt Wieters because the ball tails and Manny can't get to it. He's coming from the shortstop side, so you know, I mean, he hurried. They throw through. They think they can free him out. So it just tails enough. You could see him because he has to actually. I mean, this is about probably 2-3 months out of the lineup if you get hit by the sliding runner and you reach right across him. It really goes almost through his legs.
Kipnis, a weak ball hit towards second base. This is trouble, and Gibbons, what a play by Gibbons, the former infielder. Wow. So he gets the out to end the inning, but the Indians get 2 more, and they strand 1 as Gibbons finally gets the last out. We will head to the 8th. It's now 10-4 Cleveland, but Gibbons, a nice play to get the final out. I invite you to join us tomorrow. The Orioles and Indians wrap up the 3-game series. Chris Tillman goes against Mike Clevenger. Our coverage on MASN 2 begins at 12:30 with those extra presented by Jeep. And then game coverage at 1 o'clock on MASN 2 and on WJZ. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
So Mike Clevenger, he gets to start. A lot of opportunities. Back and forth from the minor league. Chris Tillman, the Orioles, the #1 starter, coming off a game where he gave up 1 home run. That was it. And 2 runs against Houston. No decision. There's Mike Clevenger. So the Orioles will see him tomorrow. Just kind of read some scouting reports. Didn't know he was going to pitch when the days in Houston. He's got a pretty good arm.
Here's McAllister taking over. And there's a strike. Alvarez on deck, and then Rickard, lower third of the Orioles lineup. Two on the foul ball.
So fastball, curveball. We saw them both. The Orioles hit the fastball last night. Came in, and the Orioles got 3 quick runs. 2 of them coming on the Trumbo home run. Righties. Trumbo, of course, right-handed. 414. That's a high average.
And he gets scope on a swing and a miss.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just, you know, it's just, hey, this is my best pitch, go to hit it. I mean, it's out over the plate where Trumbo's home run was. Runs back in the middle of the plate, but enough on the corner with enough stuff to get Jonathan to swing through it.
Alvarez facing McAllister for the first time in his career. Pedro doubled, was left stranded in the 5th. He's 1 out of 3.
Well, what do they say about managers? They try to get guys that struggle back in the game quickly. 6-run lead, not a bad place to do it for Terry Francona, Zach McAllister.
A little bit high, 2-0. Ten runs on 11 hits for Cleveland, 4 runs on 10 hits for the O's. Left center field, he got a lot of it. Mirage Davis out there.
Yeah, it's into the wind, so it's not going anywhere.
And 2 down.
Yeah, got a little bit of room, but boy, the wind knocks that ball straight down.
Rain must be close. The ground crew just ran behind the tarpaulin on the left field line. There's Joey, who is 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. And a called strike. Temperature was 86 at first pitch. It's now 78. So it's gone down 8 degrees
in the last half hour. That is, we were kidding earlier about the lake effect, and the old ballpark was literally, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a mile from the lake. So this one a little bit more into the middle of downtown Cleveland.
Fastball almost hit him inside. A ball and 2 strikes on Joey.
You get an idea that McAllister is more of a power pitcher than a guy that's just going to thread the needle and really hit the corners.
And a long foul ball.
Yeah, Gomes tried to get him to shake off like he was trying to go to the breaking ball and then sneak a fastball by him. That's hard to do against Joey Rickard.
There's some light rain falling now. It's interesting. There's blue sky up above behind the first base stands. Check swinging a foul ball. Pop-up foul wide at first, and that'll be back in the stands. So Joey, 2 outs and nobody on, about to see the 7th pitch in this at bat. And he got him with a Fastball upstairs. So McAllister's a 3-up, 3-down inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th, 10-4 Cleveland. Like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's go back to the bottom of the first.
Yeah, 16 earned runs in the last 3 starts off of Jimenez. So a walk and a base hit. High chopper. Alvarez tries to catch it. Can't come up with it. After Lindor had grounded out, so both runs would score to make it 2-0. They would add a couple of more, and then he'd be off to the races. Really not pointing the finger at Pedro. That was not an easy play. He tried to backhand and doesn't play a lot at third. If he'd come up with it, probably would have scored a run anyway. As it turned out, it scored, and we get to see Asher Tolliver, Major League debut the other night in Houston. Really pitched well. Fastball 92 to 95, had a good slider, occasional changeup. That was supposed to be the best pitch the other night. Fastball and slider were number 1 and 2. Nice article in the Baltimore Sun if we look at
Austin Adams in the bullpen.
Another hard throwing righty. He can get into the upper 90s. But Tolliver, who with a labrum tear a number of years ago, so we're back through that. Back, I mean, really threw the ball well.
Slow roller. Tolliver throws it past Chris Davis.
Yeah, kind of throws his hand up because, he got to it quickly, and balanced himself, and just didn't make a good throw. Of course, it's raining pretty hard, but.
And we're going to have a delay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good slider right here, catch it, and then drops down and kind of threw it right into the runner. Of course, Lindor, it's not routine if you run it out hard, and you can see Chris Davis being concerned about maybe some contact, way to hurt your shoulder, wrist. Apparently, the forecast is for heavy showers, at least in the immediate future.
Yeah, there's a cloud right over the stadium, but beyond the first base grandstand, there's some blue sky.
The rain, of course, if you look out over the left center field fence, right where to the left of the tarp, that's where the lake is, and that's where the wind's blowing from. That's where the rain's coming.
So rain delay here in the 8th inning with a runner on and nobody down. And we'd like to congratulate both the Maryland men's and women's lacrosse teams. They will each be heading to the championship game in the NCAA against North Carolina. The Maryland women will follow the men in that game. Maryland beat Brown today 15-14 to advance. So how about that? Both the men and the women go to the championship game. Congratulations to them. And right now we're going to throw to alternate programming. We'll be back at the bottom of the hour with an update as the Orioles and Indians in a rain delay here. 10-4 game, 1-on-1 out in the 8th. And Chris Davis, Matt Wieters out, so there's Caleb Joseph catching. Paul Janisch is in at shortstop now for Manny Machado. Reimold is in right field, so that pushes Joey Rickard to center field, as Adam Jones is out of the game as well. So a few changes here. And Jim, this one got away early. Ubaldo Jimenez didn't get out of the second inning.
Yeah, kind of a combination of really lack of command early. He would, walk, and then right here Napoli hits a roller, and Alvarez, he doesn't come up with it, and then Gomes pokes one to right. He hangs a curveball, and then right there, nice at bat by Napoli. So there's 6 runs in. And that's the 6-1 right off of Vance Worley as he comes in, and frustrating for everybody because the Orioles have broken a 4-game losing streak. You needed him to pitch well because Salazar has been that good. Would have liked to have kept the game a lot closer. Salazar, Chris, he goes 6 innings, gives up 5 of his 6 hits are doubles, and then Tolliver comes in here and throws the ball away. So, and they're going to try to add runs. They have a good offense, and might as well get them tuned up for Sunday.
Setting up the rubber game. The Orioles in the 9th will have the top of the lineup of Jones' spot, then Kim, and then Machado's spot. Mark Showalter doesn't always substitute even up, so we'll see how they bat in that 9th inning. 22-minute delay. So that one cloud that came in from the lake. Cued foul in the dugout. Tolliver's second big league game. His job is to get through this inning. Up and away with a fastball.
Oh, you're right. I mean, you talked about it earlier. I mean, he certainly could be optioned to AAA Norfolk, and you can bring up a fresh arm. Of course, they have to be on the 40-man roster. They have to be somebody they think they can help, maybe even a long man.
High fly ball to center field that chases Rickard back. Ball carries, but Joey has a play. He's got it for the out. Lindor's going to tag and go to third. Austin Adams getting ready to pitch in the 9th inning.
Get an idea of how big and strong Mike Napoli is. Hit the home run last night. That's to get an idea of how good a player Lindor is. But he just kind of poked it, 400 feet.
Here's Jose Ramirez batting right-handed against Tolliver. Infield drawn close.
Yeah, they kind of come halfway. You have great speed. Lindor at third base.
So no players left on the bench with the 4 substitutions. Jonathan Scope is the only Oriole who has been on the field for every defensive play this season. He has started every game and he has never come out of a game.
That was kind of a nice little kind of preamble to what happens if you actually come in a close game and you have a man on third and 1 out. You try to get ahead. You try to go for the strikeout if you're able to do that. Of course, Ramirez is trying to get a ball in the air. A nice little breaking ball would be in play right here. Maybe a changeup.
Reimold will play it on a hop and a run will score.
Well, there was a changeup, just too good of the bat.
Lindor comes in an unearned run due to the throwing error by Tolliver, but it's on the board. It's now 11-4.
It's really his run because of the error. But I mean, it's a changeup. It's it's not down and away, so it's down and in. But look at him just inside out. It's great approach. That's what they've been doing lately. Again, averaging well over 5 runs a game at home.
Ubaldo will lose his 6th if this score holds. Uribe will take a strike.
Yeah, the big concern is at what point, $50 million commitment to Ubaldo. This is the 3rd year of that 4-year deal. And you know he's trying to give you a quality start in the sense that he gets into the 5th or 6th inning. It just lately has been an immense struggle.
And in the dirt, 2-1. And there's another base hit softly hit the center field. Ripper will play it back in.
Man, Uribe, he'll take it. 35-year-old, well-traveled player. Certainly past his prime, but not past his prime to help you win.
Well, Ubaldo, if the Orioles don't have a major comeback here, will lose his 6th. He'd be 0-3 with a no decision in his last 4 starts. And in those 4 starts since his last win, his ERA is 10.26. 23 runs, 19 earned, and 16 2/3 innings.
And his next scheduled start would be in Camden Yards against the Red Sox. Best offense in baseball.
Now back off the bat of Gomes. Asher Tolliver out of Little Rock, Arkansas. 2nd big league appearance. It's a fastball by him, 1-2. Ramirez at 2nd, Uribe at 1st, 1 down and a run in. Orioles have committed 4 errors in this game. Strike 3 call, paints the outside corner.
Yeah, perfect load away fastball. Nicely presented by Caleb Joseph.
This is the 2nd time on this road trip and the 2nd time in 4 games the Orioles have had a 4-error game. They had 4 errors in the middle game Wednesday in Houston. Very uncharacteristic. In this game, Alvarez has 2 errors. Wieters has a throwing error on a stolen base attempt. And a throwing error by the pitcher Tolliver. Strike called on the outside corner to Michael Martinez, who is 1 for 2. He took over for Lonnie Chisenhall, who left with blurred vision as a precaution. Chisenhall was 2 for 2 in his at-bats. Bounce to short. Giannis plays the hop. He'll go to Scope. And that'll force Uribe, and that ends the 8th. We'll head to the 9th in Cleveland. Birds coming up down by 11-4. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Cleveland, Ohio, 11-4 Indians. They're trying to get even in this 3-game series, which would set up a rubber game tomorrow. And there's that blue sky just out beyond the first base grandstand. And here is Austin Adams.
Yeah, up and down last year, up and down this year. Power arm. You know, his fastball can get in the 95 to 97 range, and then he's got the slider, changeup. That's pretty hard. Changeup's almost 90 miles per hour. Again, down at their AAA affiliate, and then called up. And then in last year, he was in 28 games, 2-0. A chance to close this out, get some work. Jimenez comes in, caught last night.
Paul Janisch is in Adams' spot. He took over defensively at shortstop, so Buck puts him in Adams' spot to get in that bat. The Seagulls are confused. They think the game should be over, and they're coming in looking for lunch. Out in the outfield and in the grandstand, flying around. Swing and a miss at a real good off-speed pitch.
Well, that's the power, good breaking ball that he has. And it reminds you of some of the Houston Astros pitchers. Big overhand, and they all seem to throw 92 to 96.
Swinging a foul straight down at the plate, so Giannis stays alive at 1-2. Paul was 0 for 2 of the walk Thursday. He started in Houston. Got a piece of Jimenez. He's trying to shake it off. And a chopper foul.
Yeah, Adams out of Faulkner University, where he actually, I mean, not only did he pitch, he was a shortstop. So athletic guy. I've seen his arm from the hole when he kept a grounder.
A lot of times in the amateur level, especially the smaller colleges, the best athlete is the shortstop. So put him on the mound. It's usually the case in high school. Did you play shortstop?
Yeah, I played the outfield, and then when the shortstop got hurt for the state championship, I played shortstop.
Wow.
Broke his ankle.
Did you get any hits?
Always got hits. I was a good hitter till I got astigmatism. Now I could hit a little bit.
Orioles trailing here 11-4. The 11 runs, the most the O's have allowed in any game this season. Breaking ball and a called strike 3. What a pitch.
Yeah, late breaker. And Paul Janisch trying to battle, doesn't get up a whole lot. Did get some at bats. Started his game in Houston. It's kind of the backup curveball, catches the inside corner. Yeah, we're in Tucson playing in a state championship, Jim, and I'm playing shortstop, and Butch Riggs is pitching. And so I'd play up the middle, and they'd hit in the hole, and I'd play in the hole, they hit it up the middle. And he was a senior, I was a sophomore. He wasn't very happy. I finally said, just tell me where you want me to play. Give me, position me properly. So you always have to defer to the senior, of course.
So is that how you learn, where when you became a pitcher, you would turn around and say, hey, Paul, move over a little bit? Went back to that day?
No, I learned in the 1969 World Series where Gary Gentry hit a pop fly to right center, and Paul Blair was playing in the pull, and it fell for a double. And I figured one of the best center fielders of my era is playing the pitcher in the wrong position. I better turn around and see where they're playing. That's all. That's kind of where it all changed. Well, you know, it's a funny thing about moving players or trying to pitch a guy and play him if you're a pitcher is that you really have to take responsibility for it. So there's a good changeup. 90. Told you that. So it's Giannis on the curveball. And then right here, I mean, he's throwing 96 and then just turns it over. Good movement. Long afternoon because of the Oriole pitchers giving up 11 runs. Hard to focus if you're hitting, and then you get Austin Adams with really good stuff. Yeah, but just think about it. If you're going to pitch and play a guy away, you have to take responsibility as a pitcher for doing that. Otherwise, Sidney Ponzone used to always do that. You know, he'd whine and complain. Mike Hargrove said, "You'll never take responsibility," because then he'd actually have to be responsible for making the pitches and turning around and making sure. So this is the way it was.
Visit MASNsports.com/CareFirst to vote for today's CareFirst Fearless Player of the Game. Live fearless with the name trusted for over 75 years. CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield. Jumbo's got a couple of doubles. He's still in the game because he was the DH. Caleb fouls it off down the line. Orioles down to their final out.
Yeah, Caleb's just looking for a hit.
0 for his last 17.
Well, he does a great job behind the plate. Now, obviously, that's a great starting point. If you want to have good pitching, you need somebody that can receive the ball and call a good game, and he can do that. But he likes to chip in like last year.
Fly ball to right. There's Martinez. And he's got it. And the Indians get even in this series as Ubaldo has a tough outing. And he is knocked out in the second inning. So it sets up the rubber game for tomorrow afternoon with Chris Tillman on the mound for the O's. Final score at Progressive Field as the Indians get even in the series. Cleveland 11, the Orioles 4. Most runs the Orioles have allowed in any game on the year.